Every additional ma Yadama says Samunia Bretchen Yakwaba. Abidwafo no bi aye krado eno nti enche bia de behyehyɛ so na yetumi adi nkomo ade afansama awdo amedi kan bobo so ade kyerɛ mu no sɛ eno ho komo ene ebi de sanse no yɛ critical ade yɛ critical bia nso de ye ni ho agorokora nti bia wo bia no masan ama wache na masan ma wakwa babio aba UTV so na maka wo sɛ ye ro tina kopem sɛ bobo anopa du baako ti hye no so mame wadwe nche no so suye nso ukọ ye social media handles awdo ni nyina ɛwɔ which ma share live on Facebook na fe wo do comment to safa ho aba na ye nyina to adwene no a ya bɔ no tofa na ya so ne so ye man no na ye nyina so yetumi afa nti eno ne asɛm no nti na no pɛyi me hwɛ do bɔ krata agudo da manim wo ha nsɛm bi wo say female condoms use goes down na ma condom an ta use na kɔfam pa nti san hwɛ ya enamu yarewa ahodoɔ ene nyinsen a ye nhwe kwan ene HIV besa ma ne homene so pa wo Ghana ha Ghana AIDS Commission for na ekan ya sam kase papa eno ya sam ba ko do man hene nso ya de fefe bi se ne manfo o ma mo besia ansi hu no da fam enti o se ade yo saje for se ade agima bedu o to so mienu nana onkwaso ya mamuni adwuma papa sa odwene wo man ho na se papa na yesi mabunu so a ewo man mu hwehwemo maye ewo mantam enan mu no se mabunu no enum no bone sese a anya sam keto akora ti eno so ya sam ye ne bresem papa behwe eno so na de me de betwa mu na mo ne enkomo ebedi en sam di kankan no work for resource number okay na just kwala no about 1339 and wo subject no na so mu fail ye 61,778 failed 1,339 subjects and the entire resource and also ewa ha and it is almost fail entire resource in ewa ha and 174 students in so cancel one more resource no and I medi kan ka so kasa Ghana Education Watch for can say me say resource no can say social na po bi apie mu na fa nkosin work for be can say enukra bi enim nti ye be hwe say anye bia sa po asemi enchase ne ehase ache pa na tena wa na firi na eba me ameti yi work for dan kra me bi esi nti say omo de social bi pie abonten a me mede na benya me tumi fa nkompo me nim bia mpo ewo nti na mo bi so na tumi pie abonten nti ade pere na mo so ne ye de be hunu na ye tu no so sa preko pa ya ye ho beto yen na en special prosecutor be di ne ho komo pa owura matena be so abebe pim office ne IEC ne ye bie no kra ne de kaka ne komo ye be die eno no enti ene empanyfo be come inside for now ya sompa o ye lawyer ni wono kure ya so se ye ka sikasemu a waben wono na ete bifa so ya o sha tade fufu kama ya akwa aba
mina panyime dase
mo on the offer na homachi kroba ena fe Dr. Asante oye senior political science lecturer onukure yanso director Center for European Study University of Ghana Lagos ne say ne yama no post Center for European Study inti Europe amaya ni nyina mo adesua no ho samsam University of Ghana Lagos no oni director woda no akora aba
ewuraba
na bibia bokode
ya kani
ebitamu and ebitamu yeda se enti payfo mi na me se di kan kan mo ofie ha ye hwe kwan se odiafo Carlos ahenkora beba be kan sa na fe Dr. Christopher Mpedun so wono so be kan sa na fe aye full house na answer na wo munya maaye no ye be hya se ne adi komo no omo ba wi na fe atumi ahwe doc ma me hya se mfiri wo so sansa wo na ebetumi akasa ho masua ho nsam mu no wa bi wo mu a ma wodu be bia wo ye wo hwe 2021 resource ya eba ya enkwada 61,778 faili na 174 students so they cancel one resource no enyina and 1339 it failed the entire enyina doc but your analysis here by any resource e buy you know enim say afibia nkwara ye so hwe no mu nyina na be pass e be fail e be pass and the tete sa be pun sa break say si ye bubu mun kakran ohun ni say
makra ache na mema atiefo nso ache mo mani obi ache ni nyuma pa wa ye bo men ye ne tene se adesua se na meni wonnim ahu hia ye ade nyina mu na nti wudesua na wasua ni ye ojontufo bi a wo frɛ no amu to jombi o se ti ne koma se osua de a wonsua ni ye sa adesua ani trodo nti se wudesua de a wusua ne wuti no wo bibiara wo hwɛ so hwɛ ye mai ne yenuanom koye a abetu abonten ya wo de toto ho a you wo bete se mpanimfo bo won ho mran se o akwanim o won ayade aye no kware na meda bia no ne ameka ne se bibiara no ye hia se ye behwe na yen akwan anim anu nti yemfa mran na wo bɔ no mfanto ne yenhwɛ ne mabi
okay
wo hwɛ so hwɛ na ɛyɛ ahoro bebre ɛyɛ brofo english ɛyɛ nkonta mathematics integrated science men komo no me de begina ba bi kakra bi
okay
so bere nyina ni ho man yenhwɛ 2020 wayekfo the results by na wo kyerɛ sɛ nipa kɔtena ase kyerɛ so hwɛ na wo yɛ 375,763 wayek afi atwam na afi o se won aye so hwe ne 446,352 inti se wo de toto ho ahun se
o se afi atwam no no do say
375,763
763
yo
okay and afi
ye 446,000
352
inti audit say bi ye toto ho a hu se afi nipa dodo koye so hwe me minim se eba no say e ni gesam esane se na aban no niam odi agu apon so no ana kwan mu no afiase ye adwuma se nipa dodo afiase ko eye adantem school make adantem school eye secondary school what about home modern on our country school asampa ho no se wo hwa un se afi nipa so hwe no dɔɔso na eye niama ya wo de so hwe na ahoro a wo gina so no wo di je nipa ko university wo di nipa ko technical university ene ne akeka ho no ne ba ko ne brofo
okay
ye ko ne be se brofo no hwe egu ya bibi ahwe egu se wo hwa afi atwam a english also won a wo pass make a pass A1 to C6 no also we 212,866
200 english no
you english won a wonya efi A1 to C6 a kire so won pass wo betumi akọ won anim wa adesuam ba bia se adwuma mu ene ho ne manyina wo yesa
wo do do say
212,866
okay
you wo hwe afia wo ye 81 to C6 and we're 238,819 and ninti wohwa afi nipa a wokyerɛ brofo no wodoso si nga dikan kese nipa a wokyerɛ so hwe na nkaza nyina no wodoso
okay
yo na wonga e pass nini ene figure na me dia ma we yo english no wonga pass aye A1 to C6 we're 238,819
okay
wonga pass wo betumi na yen kyerkyerem so wo hwe secondary school fo so hwe na akwan ni nkwanta ne yebien se okyerɛw no pass a ode bɛkɔ nanim akɔ sukuu ntua so university o ene ne akeka training college o iyo eno wo ho se orenkɔ bio okɔpɛ adwuma bi ayɛ ana okɔsua adwuma bi eno so wo ho na ne etusu abi esan se ankɔpɛ so bɛkɔ nanim na emom ne ekodu no ontumi ntu ne nan Jesus san bɛyɛ bio wo hwɛ brofo na wo behu se afi atwa mu no se wo hwɛ nipa esa ne say wo fairly brofo na e ba na sa wo hwe 212,866 no wo tiw fi 375,763 no ma Emma 162,897 say ni pay e ya fi atwam na kire say won to mem nko nganim wa adesuam
it's English
nkwa won to mem nko ade internet sa esa ne say ade biara suku ntuaso ne nyina ne wogina so baako e ya brofo
kasa
enti se brofo no one pass dia wuri ntume ntua usuku so se nursing training college na kwa won to mem nko eye university won to mem nko eye technical university ana poly a wuri ntume nko won ne yeten nti se ni pay na wo hwe nipa na wodoso afi 162,897 enso wo beka ya na afen afi atwam ya boy ho mran say wo ya de ba o hwe nipa yi wo ya de na wo hwe nipa wo ngakọ kire so hwe a wuri ntume nko wanim
da bi na so almost half of one pass won aka
yen hwafi so we 446,352 now what you fi was one pass English we 238,819 about 207,533 akosuriye obeti asesa akosuri sanse nipa natural so hwe no do na mom enya de pa if say say nipa yi se wo pese wo kosuku ntuaso bia yes wo san be kire so ye bi
na say wo hwe afidie no kwa na say wo mo feel no edoso
na mo hwe de a na say wo ye fair say wo hwe number no so kire na mom enya sempa
almost half of one
207,533 won to me nko suku ntuaso bia esa ne say so wo de brofo na som so ya wo ron to me ko wow wa hu asem nini nti aya wo the figures no beto abonti wo so yirim odoso say me pese me hwe ne say nipa dodo so wo ko kire so hwe na so hwe ni susu dua ba ko ne ye brofo yirim won to me nti won nam ya som tete yanko hwe nkonta
maths
afie twam mass womenya A1 to A6 C6 wo pass in was we 243,904 na wo de answer na ba hon yenwie nkomo no ba ko bi afie twam me ba English wo won afeli English kura wo ri ntumi nko ba bia kwata wo ye 42,500 and 42,500 won de kwata yenka hu se ne ameka 162,897 wo won a wo ye from pass no way o hwe waye ka o so grade ni me ye pass ntuntum fa nko ba bia ebi ni 7 ebi ni 8 9 de tese ofeli poto 7 say ni pan one wo ye 42,500 afi etwam afi wo ge feli English kura wonya wo ye 61,778 so asempeni one day say 7 enye kura ya hwe bribi wo ho yamra fe yamra nkonta afi etwam nkonta won ye sana medi kankan wo ye 243,904 you won ne pass so what you fi won a kire so 375,763 no ma you wunya 131,859 sani pay wontume ntu onan nko ba bia afi etwam won ntume ntu onan dese wo sankoche so pese
eye mass no
eye mass wo pese wo ko school ntu aso ya ye wontume so what ya say na wo ko page makura yen kan hu se 77 wona odofo bi akotena ba bi na mu se munum bia obi bi eni obaka jiro se sabe me honya fenti to up nse hunu bi ama na menom dabi ono so se ye whiskey ope whiskey enu nti adwuma bi eni obetuma kese o one pass English nti bra na ye nya adwuma nkrofo betuma je obi nso ri nyo so what ya say abanga adwuma paade wentwa borofo ya police eni mu adwuma akọ na ni soja adwuma eni ho ne ma wentwa sa ne ma ndum ra ba bia nti waka yen hwafi nkonta won a pass A1 to C6 were 238,539 238,539 ubeti we fi 446,352 numa ema 207,813 won wontume ngo ba bia esanso won konta je wontume nko school nto yaso wontume
Nese mass na feel mass na nya kura.
Asemni nti aya.
Wow.
Se mpanim ba bonten so wo beka say oh afi wo yes aya wo me yenko sa nkonta ni monso ne hade. Won a feli kura afi eyenkonta wonya akron 9 F9 wo 88,631. Yo. So bi je won kura wontumi nko ba bia no kura se yirim ne de eye 9 wonyi won kura. Me de men ko boba be wie integrated science eye basic science kire say abodi mo hwehwe ne ehu adesua no ho ne ma o kiro bia wo ye science ni wo ye business wo ye arts awusua integrated science afi atwam won a pass make a pass A1 to C6 wo 194,891
194,891
wo betu fi won a ko kire so aso hwenum na won a ntuma amfa anko nganim is integrated science ho hia ni nti wo 180,872 na no de men common mechirem suku bi wo ha o say integrated science one pass no pass social studies obama wa wura obi won so ya o say da bi etesa wo pass ansa no waba nti e ho sa ankonta na hwe nipa antumi say no
one pass ye no
yes
194,891 and they want a failure you know
so what integrated science na bi susu susu dua na wontumi nko ba bia
180,872 that's right
won anya F
kata
fita kron fail kron we 73,242 2020 yan shafi integrated science won a wo pass A1 to C6 we 289,329 yo ubetu fi won a cultural so here ma won a wontumi mfa nko ba bia say integrated science no we susu dua na we 157,023 won e feli kura we 20,599 miwa me a me kira de wo school pom hu sa asem ya no hu say ewom aban we obekesa aban ye mo no ho modern wa de suam no wonyo no kwafo no kware efisa aban ye yi akuegu ewiem se obehwe ama omenyi school akonanim akokan mfumsu bi enim eye clean no kware nemum ye wosinto yensinto ni hwehwemu ni se wokose ye sohwe na nipa 207,533 wontumi ntu wonan dia ene na yasam
na mana ko
ma me famra meja yenga nieme bi wo memu a yem bi se so yenga dwenhu ana hwe wo school se wo omemu ana over ayi wo friend secondary school ne dudu ye bebre na bisa wo hu se hefo na kire nkonta or me fa no ni camera sa nipa na wo kire nkonta no wokọ university no wo sua nkonta na mbaje yenyi sa nkonta na no yenyi sa question na no
se onipa no oye master teacher no
yen
kan sa se ono no e kira do senior high ho no okọ university no
wonyina ye nkonta na wo de ko mountain so obehu sa asema mekan ano kwa ento sa ebi ye bi nsu anye nti won anye no den wo gina so de kira de so what say yo hwe transcript so wo university ne ma o kura mpo wo ye nkonta first year bi eni nti wo ma me kira nkonta there be as soon as na wo ye na wo be kire no asam foforo so wo ye di wie ana so say nipa ni ho nti mba be kire na san common ye ni wo men mu haye ye ni if you say minimum say universities won a kira de won a kire nkonta ana memfa won a kira de no kranto won esua nkonta won also enunti ye dan ni nya teacher fo wo gan over 40 something thousand wo kire say teacher fo suku ben na wo nya wo he ya make me je say what
cheaper
if you say wo commerce department wo le go so ti ase minye ni say nkonta afo no wodo so bebre sa wo be ko tech no ho ne ma okeka bom tu say ye wo say teacher fo no enunti wo be hu say bibia no wodi bi ka ho wo fi wo hwe so wo transcript wo ye nkonta kakra wo betumi wo mu say mije tutum say nipa bi wa won aye kakra no esansa ade kire no wo betumi de wonsa akwadere mu na so sa nkonta ne ya hwa na nti wo be hwe mpeng bebre no wo de mama nkese mpɛn bebre wo bɛhwɛ no ne nkwanta bi wo hu sɛ birimu kyerɛ nkwanta no kura wo ni so tumi wo menye
teacher free
teacher me kan pen min nkese yo menye nyina
emia bi o
yo wo bɛhu obi wo kyerɛ nkwanta na ne nimdeɛ wo nkwanta mu eso a na saa de ka ho ne atoso abien ɛyɛ nwoma a wɔde kyerɛ ade
textbooks no
textbooks so what you say abanya bɔ no ho modin bebre na wo betie teacher fo ya wo se woni textbooks a wɔde kyerɛ ade abanga fi ase ye ho ɛyɛ no kware abanga ye nwoma ho adwuma papa wa to sika gumu ye se textbooks be ba bonten no na ma ye yo okwaku so fa ade a wɔde kyerɛ so what you say yo ma ye obofo ne nam gu apaso nwoma na ma ye ndi enyama nwoma se ni mebi se atosin ne eto edi hobio enei ne wo hobio no se wahu adekire wi a adesua na wo ho after teaching learning must continue wahu se na tem adekire wi a se abofra sua de so mu fra sua de ana so wo kura mobile phone wodi nkoma wo so mobile phone aye textbook ama wo enya nwoma se wo betuma kan books bi wo phone so na so wodi sua de ana aye gori menkyere on sam komoyi na ho niam minkese mufra nyina na tesa na mufra bi efise wo hwe wayek won complaint ni bi wo se 100,339 ayafi won resource won atwam na ohaw ni bi ne se wodi mobile phone ba mobile phone no aye sebe abosoma mamofra ama sese no na wosom adesua won fa nya adwuma hwe mekyere de olegon ma hyemra me say my class me start 7:30 oba 30 minutes late ba cha okufie na ko koje wani me mama efei wo mobile phone ebom wo ho me ne wadi nkomo da fa phone na ko if say dan mu hyen dan mu ho na ma ka gire wo say me nya du mani mu pa me du me fo ma na me dwomo phone if say wo ma metua school fees wo papa tua school fees say bra ye nkire wade na fe wo be frɛ hello John na wo enya sa nkomo ne ho a serious business wo phone no boma ba cho soro na ko ndi wo hu say me class phone nya bomu pe no ni pa kwa kwame sante ye be sanga hia fe na mo fra no wo ko anije so if say me na ngasi for mobile phone ni yan anhwe na yan ankyere mo fra ni yan antie mo ho a say eye mobile phone ye na mum se wukura ne nkwanta bi so ya wo da say wa babo
Dr. Sante won sama wo kan nyina matena se ahwe ni din esan say subject me no ye kan wasam English and maths no and integrated science no and no so ne susudua ye di gina so de nkwada no ko manim se se obetumi akọ na se ye hwe ba ko bi am hwe me ye mu hye me pa ye maths no afi nkwada 238,539
one
pass and 207,813
won su nya fi this I 7 ho kosi 9 ho
won tumi fa
ko baby asa wo de nkunta susu a won tumi to wona this was some true
is it not alarming
alarming na oman yen ani nko ho na the percentage minke percentage ehun hia na mom yen pipe mu se na yen hu ba bi oyare no ne yensa ye tra to nsam na jeje mu bo yen ho mran sasam no help me asem ni
me da se ba no muso
minie me fa kakran kan so wuti ase efei wo hwe se su benyu bebre a enye me nwanwa ade ti na enye me nwanwa se omenyi yem kan no kware ubedu biribi na fe wo koye so hwe a na sabe awufu bi na mo hwehwe questions ama wo ma enye no kware wo mema enye no kware penyi wo behwe sukuu bi wo se wo ye minim se na ne yete na kan no bedu wo se wo ye mock anojofa eye bra sukuu bi the questions the mankrofu bi no ho ne ama na saa ne ma wo bon se edu ba bi nipa besa ebehwe sohwe no sukura won aye ni ha hwe ba bi na mofra ye ne awopetia sukuu ene sohwe mra se suban no wo ho na ne nti a me ha me se wo sang de ba university me ka tro wo de ba legon ye yi nipa di da me my examination officer for be 15 years maternal joint examiners board won na se sukuu ni koye bone wo sohwe hu a wo share committee no wo song so ya young board no wo ba no say so it is wo yi wungadi a wo yi wungadi maternal sa board no so da dimenu ni ameka na ubehu se suben yen anten so nti wo ba na wo de ba university na ne de wo university ne say university won ani te se okorani se ofum che opa bia ni wo ukofie e asem tietia ene kura university te se legon cameras wo dan mu ha wo ye so hwe nti wo ye na se won hu se wo ye dwurum bi ne niam bia wo hwe won camera so a otumi fra asemasi wo wi ai enu nti be yi asema no wo ha won akira wo leta ukofie legon won se wo pese onyin che wo legon so hwe ene ne nkekan nkọ na saadi ko so wo be hu awofo wo to questions ama wo be hu awofo na wonam akwan kuro so minkesa awofo nyina menka sa
ebinom
kakra bi na wo ye sa ne mai afei wo be hu se young society kura ye wom ye gitu abofra no ne be ye obe pass ne wo hia na mo nhwe na hoboa afei nso ma memfa sobuni bi ma awofo wo be hu se abofra ye ready so obesua de oni nakade na no so ye pese ye betontama Dumas Holland afura minkesa ye bone na mmom ye ngasade se ye hwe ma no na wo sua de ne ye mon suku akade no ye aban hwese na banyi bɔ no homoden opia won kakra awofo de bɛka won no
ɛno so ayasam
baabi na ayasam na saa ne me nyina kotia na ne nyina na ye papa ye sociologist ndio bɛkyerɛkyerɛ socialization sɛ ne efi asetete omofra ko won panin mu ejawo esa ne sɛ mofra mu ye ntumi nkyerɛ won sɛ eyi anya de pa sɛ wuwi aso hwɛ wo be hu awofo bi ne hia sɛ de ba no bɛ pass
ne hia no
sɛ wo de question na man no ɛyɛ ayi apɔ no wo de man na o pass na ne maame abohyirewu na saa ne man enwo bapa ɛno na de nya begina saa ye nyin ye kɔ suku ani asua bi aka ne ya de aba ne ye wie suku ne ya de abɛyɛ adwuma na o menyi ye bɔ menyi korɔ ye di o menyi ewu ewurade nyi mfi saa
ewurade nyi mfi mu ampa de bible so akire o de asɔre awoto o preach kakra awoto so de amaye na ene nkoma ye die no eye ne bresam yemfa ni agrokra eye ne bresam papa pesan se subjects e be gina so e de nkwada no nkwada be gina so de akọ asuapon ato aso no nyensa ni nyina nkwada no e kɔ fam wo ho a eye ne bresam papa enti doctor kasen bi na eno so na megina e de abisa me next question a mba bisa eye doctor eye ampedo akwaba Bibi aboko de yeda se se wani abre aba na no pay yenkomo no watie bi fine na oka socialization ho asem bi menim se ukọ saito
pa
ukọ saito
misuku no enye saito ma mjirem me call junior secondary experimental ni bi
okay eni
na won no enye ne
tetete no
1979 to 1982 enu experimental na ufi wow form 1 form 2 form 3 we are no secondary school form 3 eno no wo hwe a no wo se afede ya tu ni nyina bom enye JSS me de na me ko eri bi ni
enu bi me da se me ko saito ko saito
JSS me ko saito
doc ye hwe se na na ye ti sabre no me nka se bi a ye be ko so aye ne dada no saa be twem ne wi ase sesa na so wi ase sesa ni nyina no na ba bia ye fire no eno bedi kan aye fapem ni ye de wi ase sesa no ababata ho kakran bedu be bia ye we menum say ya bre no na bre so se wo class 1 class 2 akokopem class 6 na e mission school me call Anglican kakra me feel na call Presby na catechism no on a head teacher
okay
until there was total discipline at school. Who dare you so be ya kwada kwa wa bonten a e bia we aso ase ko bi na hey uko school we we Presby na master akwado me nim bebi o say master akwadem so waka baby no chira do Methodist or down say na master akwado be hu anopa e bia nwumre the previous day uko school say oh Presby ne bia na wodi boni bi o ade cha no pa no fi Presby and Methodist aba Presby bra ya assembly no obehwe line ni mu a for so na obe ha wo he bra no afro be gina ayi animu ho no aka say eno ami hu ha ne no agi aba even though a Methodist teacher no agi aba na wo twa wo a wo ye Presby no obetwa wo aba wi no san come back to Methodist. There was total discipline. Everybody belongs to somebody. And that's why I'm in any ho. Uko suku mu a the kind of respect a say yenya edema church for no eswati because one you say ye mo aba enti akwada no fo ye den kora no a free wonamu yo discipline eswati would you say dia ekọ bayi a enkwada 238,539 and I pass here on between the university any tertiary institutions out no na 207,813 and to be for same subject in enko university in tertiary institution mo education to aso are we safe
yo je ko na da se sa so mi church ifo nya oh se ni aye kan so serious nka yeah say critical nka awofo nya nka ban so adwe ba so critical issue because you can man nipa no mofra no the say na wo kan yi enne se ye kan se na ye kan a na yakoba se ya nhwe ni ya ye daachi ye kono se ye daachi empo wo ma wo se wo ma fam kura no wo hwe graduation ni nipa wo so ma graduate pa kra wo hwa wo ntetie no utim se sim talk asie ntimi nya me ta kan se ye wo thousands of illiterate graduates they are graduates too but see report to crowd show akwe asem na niente ni yakoba say ahyasie the basics no oh yeah type no discipline awo for ye no be responsible
very
ansa na obekwa afum kra no obehwe say wa siesie wa ma ko school otumi call with teacher ho ekobisa ne say o ho te sen no modern botie e wo school a okono wa disua etiseng so our for take personal responsibility no me bay ni dache say me ensure say e code yi enti obobo homodene ene akade so ayedi sua ade enso no oni bi nanso so like papa was say pampo na esi odi na odi hweme a obebo modin na wadi sapa no ahweme na o hwe odi bi koma obi mpokra say oh madisia na enko kan say na yesi ekọ no nti nipa da nwumre no ohia me papa a wonim hwe obesori aba behwe se ampa me sori fifie si me kosua ade amekọ ene obisa sa nipa se na etsen me ba no oye no ho adisua which means me bibi akohia me papa ne me ba me do o man ko school ende wo hwa etsen parents bebre empo ntetiye ankasa ye de ma
kola no
ofi enu kwa je sinto kese won onfa ho abofro do be pie akosi da ben obeba be 12 okra enu aso o be that time ben je say hu ego hia ne say emra order no
ne ba no
hu na so hu no nya sa abofra do say ebia pen wo hia hu ana say ebia huma bi no hia hu obehwe atoba na hu hia no empo abofra no ni bia ototototo ebe fie ni ma okura say ye phone pe bia o fa ya wonya sika to sa de kura awofo emfa no enu say wo phone na efe wo aya fa ye we mame just say akwese indisciplined does because entity nka ye say the mofra e wo fie no say sa de tie ni nyina just eso atekura ye say irresponsible awofo bebre enu maye anya no nko they say akwa single mother and a single parent the single parents no just say oye busy say oh sorry ye nia obedi ehu hia no say abofra no obe sorry ahwe say wadware ana say wa address eco school enye dadwe nemom nia obedi obenya di ehu na ku hia no enti wo hwe the social upbringing totally say just a form say ama ani a ewo mofra ho say ye hwe say abofra no kwan say ene so fa so no atumi akokan no we ka say bia awofo we ka say well enye ye okebe enyaya nkebehwe but yes so abramu ayedin ye kan say abofra no meto na tade say me tua we enti ba nkwa meden ni manya ska so ahwa abofra enti so many excuses ene ma e was ani mehu interesting say ama mofra na nkasa ye so indiscipline o sorry opa na osuande oko school kra bu obetia ko nanti no na mu a se na wo so kan yi yes abofra no emfa aba enka no enti se wo be discipline abofra no no se ne ye mre no ye betimi abe pick ane se ya mo aba kra wo be kneel down ana so be ma onsa so ana sani mani nyina akoye sani me abuse a human right issue now se sani mani nyina no come from just wo kwa say discipline I say a bible frame say na bible e say chabofra won fa so okwan abofra fa so so nyini a o mfi so samre ye free sa kwan no so at the same time you expect say benya good results Agya Kwabena a bad that's a real problem a societal problem and son if you work with teachers so and son or blame wo examiners it says ya nkasa ya hu problem aye wo mu as a society na ya anwen ho say anuanom say ya ma ya ni ama ya mai hu because ya kan bia say ya mai ni ya daachi ebe den mo fra ya daachi emra ntete a ese ya tete wo mu ohwepa ese hwe wo mu ya ni ese ku on hu na fe discipline a ese ya hwe ma o mu tumi nya nyinaso bi a say o mu nyini a o mu fre ho ya nya mra ma o ma ebe den ni sa mo fra yi etwa ya mo fra pa enti ye wo so many foundational issues are ese di kan hwe ansana abofra no nko mpa ebi kwa school credit dey didi empo a wo fokwa hwe so didi empo na akọta school mu na okom o suade na oda na abofra say ebe le no etime suade kra hu enti ebe hwe results no nko but ansana be hwe results no say na wo kan just ye hwe the foundation issues because I know any SAT kan hwe ansana wa ba results no ni ebre kwaso ye mire mu a me kwasem
en shedam koyi
I don't see it so ma nya sa attitude top sabe like mathematics no
Dr. Saka Sembi say if you teach any no chere mass no kra no ote mass asebisa teach any na o chere mass no so ono no ote mass no wo tumi a chere obi ama onipa na te mass na se na okotwa ma na pass ana Yeah. Nansen yesi napkufo ibia ye fa omo adi rural school mu no. Me nya opportunity eni ebinom di nkomo ana omo kira de ewo senior high school so ahodo a subject na ye omo kire no en ho nya omo field. Aye no kre ba ko pa mo yin se ye bo ne yanka. En nya omo field. Why are we joking for education like that? Some passion, and then obey the message be about my young shana. And could they call school? Busumi miensa, you see him say, be okudi busumi miensa, why I say before one kufi. As I saw my 13th of November, 5th, 3rd November, I say before one kufi. And you know. And she said that wa pa say akwada ye nim so kodi boso miensa owi a obeba okodi boso me nan owi obeba abedi boso mi no ofie say and let's say Friday on the 17th no makwan abafie nan say kura no mo Sunday be so abebe kan be ya de afrafra but ma me fan kan basic ones no say ye be ye kwada no nketwa no ebe ye sam exams bi even ye start academic year no na sa exams se no na wo ho na ni ho but suddenly de aba bewuram enkware ko school na ochina o aba fie be di boso I say kwana bra enti akwada no mu no wo school na nkasa akora no onim da dodo obedi wo school teacher ni no obecha akwada na de nkasa no so enim bretintin a akwada ne kwa kwadi wo school are we serious?
Jacob, I think something for me no I'm a Juma Naif, but the only thing I'm here is me found common in a global context. Sebi on my teacher ni na addition there into yet two addition sia not as a yeguya mine and then I say Ghana underdeveloped
obi de ntwa no obi de message bi bai nana yaw o say good morning na on do susu say esese oblemu aban ono susu se ese de so bobo aban ade ti ana na o se san ka esa abanhwe na ka to textbooks esa so Dr. Sa resist our issue no say textbooks as we speak no ho akwahwe kakra wo schools how do no mu ye de hwe ne pe textbooks akira kwa no ya nya ne sanamu no ye de to pass questions ene ye de mankwada ne suaye enti eno eye bibia obetu aka se ka ho bi ene ye do ba bi a ye duro no dia okan yi ene se da oka global no to asoma me
okay me da say nti say na make na empanyifo no ama men komo na ye efo kakra but I want to put a perspective say the problems they are saying is much worse so the Ghana to amaya aka ho because now it's not only Ghana is not a standalone and enye Ghana nkwa na wo wiase nti Ghana ni akra no ochena any US ni akra no e na betechiri wiase nti ye hwe say ye befi ye hu hia ene nyama ekoso ayenim say enya ni mo a the key focus should be education. I think that the priority on education cannot be underestimated. Having said that, Dr. Asama has some data. I want to add some few to it, and then we can look at the why. The number of schools who wrote the exam is 765 schools. The total number of subjects or mocha is 60 subjects. And if you look at 42 out of the 60 subjects are composite. That means there were part A, B, and oral, Nesaniamano. He's done a brilliant job by telling us that the core subject, ufeli core subject, now we are there, we are oko when you may just also actually those. In the found they say we analyze the 60 papers. Once we have a view and I say a core subject, Nasia, you bet me I can't see say and so and I think he's done that job, and I won't repeat that. Okay, EduWatch, which is where the conversation started. EduWatch monitoring report basically was to say, omoko around lot of incidents of cheating. A teacher for WAEC for students, I come here I say nyan so hen I come here I say pass paper was the focus of the education rather than educating. Yes, I said be obesua de na yesu na nim de no na yehwehwe
na mo nkrata no
benya so wa pass
nti okon be so be pass de no ane hia yen
and no na me pese me sha ase ka se empanyimfo no correct nanso me bisa se hwan na ama na yesi yen nyina na ama na and I like the sociological effect conversation by doctor. Mine no sebi what's the data? Yenim say 40% of the entire population are less than 15 years. Another 1/3, which is about 30%, between millennia. The world as we have Ghana now, and yet millennials are now less than 15 years in the teacher. Sebi paying for and the teacher or mine is in city. If we're looking at the effect, and I say the air can. The conversations are they na mpanyifo this year akwan amankra no ekamia say passing an exam is more important than nimdie. In 2018 a World Bank report actually says that about in 18 years time, and I want to quote exactly what the report said, which basically suggests that in 18 years, Ghana will lose significant part of its people, even to ill education. Nye so more manko school, omo muko school ni nimdia omo wano ya de tutu we say baby ana nimdia of the average person yadra. Sebi, o de Ghana need to ho a ondru baby a. The World Economic Forum states 10 skills for the future. Yeko school yesu ade no nyema do the future needs in terms of nimdia bena ya de chichi we say. The 10 and they define the future by 2025. In the Jacob na future and yes 2050. Future near 2025, which is 4 or 5 years away from now. The 10 skills they are consolidating in 4 categories. They are problem solving. They are also self-management, which is discipline, and self-organization, and leadership. They are also working with people. They are also technology usage and technology development. So skills in 9 and the future is 2024. Now, yambra waye kino so.
But be obo mako 9.
Yes.
Sensi subio.
into World Economic Forum, a 10 skill set that is necessary for the future. Future near 2025.
Okay.
OSAP categorize it 10 now into 4. They dedicate a problem solving. Say yes, solving problems, and yes, be say minimum theory, but me solving problem. Problem solving is number 1. Number 2 is self management. Self management includes discipline and leadership. The toss me and say you're working with people. Say only afofro ye be collaboration and not competition, collaboration. Toss me and say. The toss and a tech use and tech development. A technology usage and technology development. The toss 9. But in terms of the skill sets, Nankasa 10, and I think but these are the 4 subcategories.
They won't hear pan 9 in here.
And me show some penny phone na be ne me be ya dwen say sebi uko school na say uwie na niam 4 way untimi nya na che school na uko ye no faso amaso ye hunu ne sa ne afa ye the skill set, even the people like say o ma pass no in terms of ye de omo to the global average now you hear output in terms of problem solving, self management, working with people, and tech usage and tech development. Now, I say we need to take our conversation on education seriously, because Doctor has already gone through the figures, which suggests say even on the pure theoretical knowledge, passing the crown, passing ayeding. EduWatch has told us cheating, any those incidents of corruption in education significant. But even beyond that, WAEC admitted some of the report by EduWatch. They refuted some of them, but the results show even in the normal curricula we are struggling. I know the government tried to change curricula, which was a good step and a conversation we need to have. But the conversation I may bomana question say kwan ben ye befa so ye besesa kwan ye fa susua ade kwan ben ye befa so you be say the population dynamic of Ghana youthful. Into see a me ani anku addition ne andi addition common I think the doctor also pointed to some of the courses textbooks, the nature of teacher addition see a free teacher ni, and you know the idea of a teacher, a tutor, and yes said you be out in the show with him.
Na mono bia o kira o no no ma wan hunu adehwe we aka nyina wo hu ama for the messages be hu message ni bia na me yura ho na ha me esan se ya ye o ha nyina no anya hwe kura no emfi no kwa anim kakra na anim se na hu masua esitie ene me kai those days wo ho a ye say education officer for da ana so mo ban so a omo monka ye de won se torokan na o maba. Now, who dare you say, wow, you teacher, you want now? Who dare you say, Baba, 1 year, yes, away? And to Bribian woman in down by Bentino. Now, so you says, our supervision, no education teachers say, minimum say, from and that's all. To our subject. Okay,
into a medicine, the point and may come and say, addition common in my humble view. Education. What is the priority we've given teachers?
Yes.
Teacher ni is the beginning point of learning. Teacher, he inspires knowledge and he guides you towards knowledge. Answer na me actuarial science at university, which is in Conta basically. And then I did my masters, and then to say me a lawyer. So I left the math. I was a science student in SS, did actuarial science in university, did a master's outside, and then came to do law. Addition, uko ando addition, uye sheye nye. But Kwabena obefa so obema akra no ko ada addition. Eye teacher ni ogina nanim. Teachers inspire, but sebi mpanyifo anima. Himfo na teacher for. When you look at omo bubble lab to become a teacher, when the be a teacher ni, is it the best of the class? And I sebi, the middle or the low? I don't have the data. But who gravitates towards teaching? Is teaching so exciting and rewarding? Sebi, the best of the class and the best of mobile child there, and I say, "Manya bibi anya no makodi teacher." Inti kosi say ye be teacher nkomo na hunu ni say teacher for na chechire oman because teacher for na manim de teacher manim de why teacher for na che ye nyina ya de say nye teacher anke ye nyina ya ntia
na obia ni what ye teacher na chere na de
de bia o mbuza say kwan be na mfa so crab from video ankwanta class 4 teacher J bomb aba say make twi speaking vernacular if you me say because na me hu suza me say me nka twi biem into a few class 4 me start say make bro say me dream cram me dream wa bro a teacher na am sir. So the point I'm saying is that ye nyina no the conversation on a teacher results are here kan nyina the incident is a report card for teacher.
Me tie wo some can say wo hwe teaching a professional kra na man for call no bi o say recently kra you see laptop bi hu samsam aye du honyan we kan we na we kan we kan we na we kan we kan we na we kan we ma ko ono abo ahenkra so mo anu si na me kono so na me misa the question so ono wa ban mu
Okay.
ono betimi a kire me
The me coming and say this result is a report card of our teachers. In as much as who is saying crown performance, no, I think it's a report card on teachers, and the teacher climate is also a report card on educational managers on how they reflect on teachers. In as much as Abai no IB, and I think said Dr. Kano because Abai way hasn't tried for education or hasn't done anything for education, the person won't be truthful. But having said that, this is still the future. Report card nature say teacher for no akakakra and say aka teacher for kakra dia na educational managers no so definitely akakakra.
Asamba kwa kan se si amagina so ne owura ahenkra din ko bra kwa aba.
Yeah, we are there.
We are boko de radio say na nkoma ebedie no nkoma no kame kra ke discuss asem nko san say humesua o man da chi wasem na yeka teacher motivation. I remember there is an issue na edu baby free senior high buy no me a policy be makasa me je wana me boa aboa pa amanya hwe kura no sebi obi ananka ne bantumi ko bi kura no watumi akobi aye laudable idea now so edu baby a nsemi we se na ye hu sade na ye hu na de no wo ntisi yanka ne de kura so aha enkoda e bae na edu baby na pressure ba teacher for so pa since nkwara no doso e je teacher no enti ama teacher motivation ko fam and na obi the message bi aba said abe na sa single track for no green track for be ko say one track for be ko we track for be ko we track for be ko as government resource ya bay efan kwada no maths English and integrated science fail ni wo mo ntumi fa enko ento aso na se for na bae no a dear now you say ato sinning in all sincerity I say ye hwe ne ye ho adwuma from teachers from educational implementers you know in fact GS Ministry of Education as for nyina no I better down to students you know I did not just say to me ye na if you to me hwe akire no ye beba na fi take use na as for na de ho sem agwuro
Me das Kwabena we dey fache me say
oh we hwe ye nim
eh say IGP say pon no ye nya ntim ai obi ampa ko kire akwa ni anchimi antum na me ho hindada sa ko mi achimi atum de answer we baba na me de say ne alizi enya konya bebetra say ye ka education wasem na educational reforms in any meaningful society be educational reforms, regular educational reforms are very vital for the success of education. I was a friend saying society now so we share educational reforms and consecutive pass starting maybe 1987 ho baby I started the from O level ako sa minimum friends new one year be SHS so be ma ina ka say education level conform kakra septa I don't know why empirical evidence and penny for the home ka say form by universities na kasa to manu to say kwala na by university at that time no what they compare 6 form 4 now there was a vast difference and the MPP aban crack the point place and em from 4 years instead of 3 years NDC for buy I said there be Mommy anya 3 years na e be say yet so ntini sesa before ni bebre na come back and forth Yeah, by 2017, one of your major campaign promises was free SHS. Yeah, by news here to go. A day and when she said in your money at all. In actual fact, so will be some. Say in someone uncle for say free SHS no education I conform a BSc. So what to talk 2 years results here free SHS exams all my year 2020 2021 are far better than the previous 4 years as a 3 years preceding it. Don't let also forget say in talking about the statistics no all the preceding years numbers no and also sending free SHS in the buy. Immediately I started free SHS 2017 as 20 September. Your enrollment cost more than 400,000 students. But what did we see? We saw major passes and that's a huge passes in final results of these numbers that came through. Of course, 10% of 200,000 is not the same as 10% of 400,000. And basically, no, say what the smaller friend saying research number, a certain percentage. Ubenya a proper or higher figure than say what the higher numbers no about percentages no. But I know class all the to one. So they will can figures here by. HBB. HS a free SHS and a wawa kana abebo papa. Na me de men kan say abebo keke. So what to be a share pose in Leketas secondary school. Chimu secondary school. Sa school we to be sa school anon ko wo dia kese compete e free. Science a mass quiz one. It tells you a certain story. For all you know, if you are some color and come to TV go me a beer. Nanka any free SHS school and come to me and no stage. But yes, still we are seeing some miracles happening in the educational sector. For me, I think it's a very, very genuine. Now, this year results, in comparing the four friends saying subjects are a year of main concern when it comes to finance and the math, science, English, and social studies. We share the past 5 years. And a course like social studies, for example, 2021 was the highest in the past 5 years. Because in 2016, the pass was the percentage of 48.5. 2017 was 43.7. 2018 was 50.5. 2019 is 63.2. 2020 is 52.5. 2021 is 65.7. Impo social science crowd is 64. So now you know me attribute way to be a friend of school effect. School effect counts a lot in educational friends environment and a passing of examination. School effect near them. Say me call secondary school be a strong one be a corner be. Now me call secondary school be watching what na say a friend say yeah preseka. Certainly you bear me out. Send me what preseka na such what no. Me want a very high advantage of passing my examination than your SAS good. So it stands to reason say, and yes, a kasana be idea, and a increase facility and infrastructure on these Ivy League schools, Ivy League in quotes, in Ghana. Nanka sending ka presek and a kafa 4,000. Almost I say, yes, school done being can for 8,000. Such what I make me for 2,000. What was I say? Yes, it's school for 2,000 Ghana 4,000. And this would eventually give us that effect than everything in educational reference curriculum passing of students. And they may come back and see double tracking. I did be out cancer, you'll be say red and good and want to be see. I am be some home. Senka and it says you're quite sorry because other. So we could say if you're Juada, you could see me menda. I saw nice work. Ubiankum. And name put them fast one bam for swa. Yeah, you rain your prayers. Now your friend is saying all night to be near the Benocram pressing. From Monday to Saturday, I saw dance you qua. And so Sunday will be connected to be wa. Nani Padambroso. So, or software and competent to be see one thing. No one for TV and so microphone and TV. The next thing I saw with me, I say, obey first service, second service. The first service, second service now, and does not dilute the Bible. I'm not preaching now, you know. Because it's the same Bible, no use. It's the same preaching, no preaching. And as far as Osophonia concerned here, he's winning souls for God. on to me in Kadebia that say, Masori for him 120 at a time. Covered grab me for 60 pay, where half. But nipa 300 aba sorry. And the main cause the system rem not 240 omunko fee. What require more responsibility to win souls for heaven and answer for the Lord. And the can be as of befaso. Nipa 240 is basically Agya on one of befaso. And that is where the first, second, third service comes in. The same infrastructure. On see that in the same Bible on the sun, the same preaching. And all year. Ebini yen gold track, green track here and Grofon Media, if you ask me, I'll say that from the results I yenya was this the first gold track, green track results I yenya 2021 or 2020 is and 2017 and 2020. First gold track, green track results I yenya 2021. And that results even seem to be better than the previous year. If you even consider the fact that it was 18% higher. 2021 numbers was 18% higher than 2020. Then it tells you, say, something has gone really right in this arrangement. What did we do? We ensured, say, SARS schools there will be a nyanko be kubino. Mimi said, Nanka was called Papa Augustus. And so, meant to be Uncle Augustus. Obinya and Fancy Pim and Kobeko. What we are Fancy Pim. And so, double tracking, making sure. Say, first 4,000 echo green. Then the second 4,000 echo yellow. Sanko for winum. To be called SARS schools, I can see. Our passes, the crowd will come and cover. A friend say, and as I attenuate those of Omo schools here.
It's just so me and Ketwana.
It's just so me and Ketwana. Etimestre. More be a that say double track, green track, no. Yellow track as a good track, no. I had the bonnet. Made me fun say a prudent use and as a usage of real estate space. A siwan mukeke for a certain period will be a use.
You take advantage of
say. Take advantage of the situation.
Now, so shall be only pana. You do to me na manwa one no chradia. Onim said, and caneno, ebia me chradia be busumi me and sa. Meko kwajima home be busumi and as an outwinsia. Now, so ne, a son is a double tracking as a fulintino. Ahumje bia and she then home.
Your teachers. Okay. Okay.
Make a way based on their men who yes a mati. Me made him a new
okay.
Na make.
Okay.
Pressure by teacher for no so. Pa.
Initially, yes.
Pa. Enti number of the years or no to nyakwa no de home no. Ontumi nyakwa home sa. Enti pressure by teacher ni no so. 2. San say ehumesua na kade no. Ebi nso hyeda eni honti no. Ebi wo ho, ba ne nyina hyeda eni honti no. Na ama se adoso na be kese. Akade na beso medi adwuma no so no. Ebi hyeda eni ho. Enti ne ama ne ye no aye de ama me kakra. So ye factor those kind of sanyema no ewura mu ansa na ye sha sese ye teacher motivation, teacher encouragement. The head teacher ni no ya dwena koso ye pa wo ho. What can say for teacher for yes. But ye misa say dog can say be say nipa na ekwokyere mass no. Omo hwe mass ampa na.
Koran, in fact, me trahanamo and can show say all is well with the teacher for. And from your time, you know, a teacher for have been make us say should I call them an endangered species? Because we who teacher ni bia. A free time, you know. So with me actually me who be so be who be on country. And it gok your time gok mokra. Now we hear vacation classes usumo or we have vacation classes. If you go school crowd we have vacation classes. So tias ya we be a school ya so we have vacation classes. One more crown board me and new baby and can be expected to do in society. But they were brilliant and very good teachers. So and me the me who say much jumana kwa be sacrificial because we dream extent to which are almost impart knowledge emma yenkwala and as a yenom now the extent to which almost sacrifice almost time and on bibia and you want ketua and yedema. I agree 100%. But somebody has to take the pain. Say person man koswa say be ye nyina faako we nyina so mo na dia peda summit way so catch us say me ma a teacher for on assessment and answer teacher for ne omu hia say omu de be ye ne omu ye no ma ye no more one way and come there's no other sector in our economy anka skani beko can you na beko teacher for because if you are able to put them up prop them up no more child year any good citizens good students e be ye man mapa obia say ne papa kan obia accrue through a teacher in some pain but yen to be yen nyina da Kwabena enu nti ene ye starting kakra number 1 you buy a for teachers for teachers more than 100,000 if I'm not mistaken I stand to be corrected you for teacher for from all levels I told me you know a mini laptop as as an incentive to the teachers as to whether Bruha and I say how he managed to even come into fruition I know you're discussing
but still now I know say one big factor say I didn't know so they breme I didn't know they breme I'm a fin edge
oh what am I fin on the waje there waje
what is the second so I didn't so my
Kobi waje ade no
what is the second so I didn't so my
e beba
na me I didn't know my ya me nka say free me
e me na ne nkomo yi
okay
oh ade obi na obi tell you say Carlos say teacher for kra laptop
David and antisa
anya wo hade mo nka na sa no mo tia bontin no ko ka tru ka say
no eti ya hwe say ade no onipa no ye de bre no wate no
yes
and I born ade man no kra no eso and I wate no wo bra no nye ready so beti no ade na wate no so ade no so mai
kwara dane nkomo
psychologically no obeti
ko dane nkomo okay ba me nka de say message teacher for asem bia ni we de sekan twam asem bia nipa na trans ne yeka message no matter how bad omo feel is right now with regards to start a dialogue is the solution woman to the and they have very good leadership or union no when I hear them sometimes speak or as I talk on radio na me tie nyansasem a come out of speech now I sometimes tell myself say these people are not just teachers but they are learned people say lawyer for mon kwara from learned but teacher for near learned pa oh enti omoni education ministry GES and trust now how we can bring this one to some kind of conclusion media me sure say sir laptop asemi by it came with a very good mind enyansa papa dance adwin papa bi ena ma obi dwin won say emeti je bi laptop baako no mfanya na ade ye nyina ye contribute bi wo de bra me constituency behwe not said last year as the last 2 years me gather all my DSS teachers about 300 and something 700 teachers and I'm a year refresher course for 2 days with the help of a few companies year refresher course aka headmasters amba be ya ma me beza me something with financial management ma no mo how this is kaka krebe wo how to manage it oh ye nyina ye bi de boa enti men tran mo muteacher fo mutia ba ne mo ne meka ne se mo ma bibi and say at the papa o ma year so far me share results aba from 2021 ade na me hwe even ye da yanim na the fact say aban ye ni obetumi aye bia to even improve on their very friend saying position when it comes to teaching a friend saying adwumaya mo bia ma bibia me cross no na onfa ne ho nkonko ji bibi mu ebema saa success nyina adi really aban de adwempa ena ye ne oye no say I fairly and I say akwakodu be na say hit a snaga there's always room to come back reprocess and move on again and that's what I want to say to that but yeah ba yen adisua force so and ye hunu say red gold green gold red track green track no and no cry ye papa no mama yen nyina me ya dwen ko ho na ye improve infrastructure e was existing schools here Wesley girls so for 10,000 yen sia dan na for 10,000 ka ho say be ya at least obi ya Wesley girls obeko akola bia se beta frache we pass exams na so ordinary school A and school B so your opportunity to go Wesley girls are on school A school
na dey tell ye na the one way so say e wo fam no ye empeja wo mo so na wo mo so enu ba bi e bedu ba bi no na ye ma pressure ne nko Wesley ho nko a na kasa structures ne infrastructure wo kan wasem yi no okay Wesley you just say but ye nko Achimasafo senior high school you say you bet you my hono science I remember 1995 the best science students of Ghana I thought to be corrected no if Achimasafo senior high school secondary school na omo science resource center aye abu school ntumu fi asafo ɛna coach bi ekokoye science practicals na sefo enti na de ti na dada na ba ko ne susu se omo ye low class no yen pagya wo mo so emma soro wo ma beduru Wesley nim na disco nim na fancy pemo kra na at least about 70 to 80% to beduru na ka hono so no empagya na yen koye nim nchin say ye be ya adwene se bibia gidi na ho ade de ahode nyere be kwakugu
Kwabena
bra
what's what okay as we ready match me no you dream pop me mentiase because the time I go school me sure say you try exams cry no e bia ye ade sin school ya
of course yes
no and so because man course school dey be no e bia omo kasa kra won't be nkom and how to go down on jamna won nkom and near ye kasa keta secondary school should never be classified as a B rated school and say it should be A1. Chemu secondary school should not be classified any other A but A1. All these schools are na ke hu so we are under a certain group and so no ba no it's wrong. And no crime a demoralizing kwara no e mo bi do man as we present na ko e do the pass enya hwe me ko ha you know it is a obi ko change secondary school for example not so to be pass out e be say ko university ko doctor you have to respect that person because I don't know when you first back on paper I don't know how me ko abo state college is for that year exam no I was the only person out of a group no I'm to be called university straight me none more by later you know have to reset a paper or two before they came so I didn't say banasa and the year they just teacher for don't want only my dear and I'm bon and a teacher for no more achieve what ne Augustine's name in fancy pem no omo no just say ya pai omu e dey ayina shi omu na how do they do it and who even is the one classifying these schools one HSS school we Temasco we a friend is or dance school we B who is doing that it is incumbent on us as a nation to ensure say you bring your schools to one level even though it seems impossible because baby abekobia because there are Ivy League in good schools oko UK or more Russell group schools US for you Ivy League schools Ghana is a category A schools why must it happen like that and how does one move from category C into category A what is the friend saying procedure somebody must tell us
okay obi be tell you BBC CI atuboni or say Agya Kwabena good morning there is a school at Swedru the school accepted a woman who went to study Fanti in the university to teach English in that very school. GS must wake up. They must stop gambling people's children.
That's also another problem.
Okochire Fanti. Yes. At the end of the day, not English. Into only a bit you ni. Or say it is because political parties play in crew with the educational system. Ntamanyo phone na be bon omu apa na ahin menu say teacher motivation is as it is now is very, very poor. Some of us have been in school since January to date. And as of now, none of the teachers' academic intervention grants, which are supposed to be paid on a semester basis, has not been given to us. And with this CPD points building, CPD point building, teachers are charged exorbitant fees out of the meager salary for workshops. So workshop assuming teacher no pompo. Almost 70 cities something say yeah workshop I'm a teacher you know. Ono so nka so for workshop bi aye. Enti factors no so do can not say teachers are peeved.
Mama for we nka ho. Once the time you school no so be kai say na boarding house. School bia or your teachers bungalows or campus. And then no one because of the number of teachers bungalows no insufficient. Secondly, bungalows is they are started. As we speak, school be I don't know of other schools, but schools are minimum organized no. Say teachers bungalows no say watchna the back renovation minimum. Ni nyina atete apansam. Enti so we teacher ni na do accord mo say na kokoye ehwadwuma. Ni no go trend there na say wow do butu ska the back renovation. How do you expect to give out your best? I understand them all these dynamics so well. But yeah, you can say teaching and as a school a friend say line no and yet me fan say a productive and as manufacturing area a self financing Aban is a social area that Aban has to look for money from somewhere to go and finance all these ones. And they're trying to be an ending. Say Aban Benyeska, a train collab school fees.
Why don't we? And it's a man, look as you say, as a sub for responsibilities in your understanding. Why is and Quebec for Quebec say fine? Say no, I will for a year for 50, Aban soon for 50. And no, and Conco Bois, and my yes, say, no, Aban finding in about meanwhile. Sika bande finding in ano so and then was a mama share asemi obi ka wa or say I don't know why these politicians rely on percentage of pass and was it to argue on present status of education. I can say be essence say percent na 60% na 40% 79%. Sa percentage no so reflect say one kwada na ebeko university so na essence said nkwada 238,539 to me a pass echo not to the same year no 207,000 to me and university with massa. Is it not serious? I see to me translation said be asam ya to a year kosora I see to me on baby o dey send about nko prepare me more 10 seconds be pe na kakra bi ade so no ade so na fi ya kwansan for say ka say be di akire a
mpeni akasa na ne wo ho ne say omeni ayaye tabu yengeni gunie maso yeken ya beka be yetra aya somebody how many esa ne say yengedi kan aka obi abetumetu anamum bia e school enu nti ye wo niam bibiri atese ye medi minim say achia ne mu ye okwan ne den etese ye hwe we get the basics right ha school ni nyina wo hwe say adantem school ne ye kan ho asem meka secondary school adantem na anza no bi beko ho no ahobua na wo primary ene school na wo form na eteden aya na yan wira fi ho ha ututu kwanko nkrobusua aman horoso ubehu se ehokra na wo she education mu kana
ya mo fran
me call Czech Republic na men nkrofo di nkomo unim ni better at primary school we kura master's degree asem ni
most of the flag
enunti oye master of the subject ochire economics ochire nkonta ochire brofo master o me say asem ni o into subject no ochire why we amene
very true
what was that yanga to sa ho no agye menka obroni make say menya fair to government aben bi ehu sa di na wo hwa aban horo yanga fi 1992 a obi a bɔ no homɔden sa abani wa bɔ no homɔden wo sa dem wo de bi kan wo hu problems no na mum wontumi nye ni nyina yen so ayeye amanfo no den na yeye ne de bua sa di basic education ho no honso eye mrewa ubehu se won ekọ secondary school no na eye mrewa efe ubehu ubedu university na no sumu go na wuwie a efe asamba ko aye di hokora na se wo de watete mo fra nyina ko school awie so wo ba bonten adan wo ba be asam na ba ko ni na matrase biribi na me fa pen na me editor answer na me kwa kwa chira de university na mo ye adwuma chronicle na me editor for Heritage newspaper da kuro be na me fa pen na me say aban yi sika boye nipa o se thesis grant se wo chiro niema wo ye hwehwem odibuo uko bam library legonga wo thesis egu wo nyina na nase wo underground bi thesis ngwa na bi say sa thesis bebre ni yo man ne haw won kofu ahwehwem aban sika wom so aban ne yede sa thesis ni gu ha obi anfa nya hwe wo fa ba ko abien bi na wo de aye niema mbi say any industry no na niema ye ni woni nkita ho na sa nkomo enyi adwuma so that abofra di wi a otumi kura nitizi a wachiro nti otumi kotua so adwuma bi mu na wa enyi adwuma sa nkomo ni nyina no ye di no mum ye ngani nko ye nya the basics right ye foundation nya strong enu nti se ye ko ngani ma wo secondary school na ye gina ya nan so efe training enye papa training so wo training ampanifu ma kura kasa bi wo be hwa obi ko school kakra so sebe wa mo no modern so onko chirade what is akasa da when tuma anya so wo de teacher ko di teacher
wonya duma fa no wajai
na no pass ala go ala wo pass ala go
kasa
ogo university go
kasa ekutia omeni So what I say?
Okodi teacher na so
how many years?
Onye adwuma pa.
And nti wo so obi akoti teacher adwuma mu na oni Odobia nimdie bia ni ho mede ahokyere na benti na ha ne nan si kwan so na sa teacher fo no unya won a menkese teacher fo nyina atasa da bi kakra na ho no unya won sa emma ade kyere ne ntuaso no eye biribi foforo efei training wahu sa mudi kankan o kan quantity school ne ho ne eni abani oya obom no modern wo training yo oya sa ne obetumi no de sa no kwara mom yanka obuabu training na yenhye mu kana se wo ha event te hu hia hwe me wo hoi me etore bia me kira de Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College what on safre se mom me kire conflict peace crisis management bitumi ko bi ye ko kire niam bi na wo hwe soldier fo ni police fo ade manage wo hu bibia da training ekoso enye field kura se be etuoto no nkwe eno nkwe akeke no was ngumemu adesua wo freyen meme ko Ghana Armed Forces Staff and Command College na niema wutumi so mi nkrofo yi mo ya smart mo mechire ngi ndi aye wo se sebe oye soja ni
ntoni na ma bi
watra ho niema onim no woni hu adwene ye ma sa training na nkoso wo hu se teacher ni ba bi ogina no ya tam na ko ba bi na wasuasu niema bi hwe me ko kira de wo legon ma teacher fu bi fi wuniba so wo mechire nse no wo kira de class ya kase na class esu na wo kira effective teaching what the professor afu broni no mo be kire yen ade sen wo kira ade sen wo control if say me class we political science were 1711 class back on so what that say and nti we teacher ni na say wo ntumi nkira ade ya class kekake na university na chichem 300 city campus were 605 distance were 612 so what you say and nti it say unya skills bi legon etuma mam sa skills wo ha wo sukusua ade so na say what set question say no is training hwe 2014 ko no meko Switzerland o se ko hwe wo sa de kire papa bi aba wiase ko na kosua na hwe wo doctorate nso ho ne ma wo meko no makota na class me ba ma kire me report wo de wo training koso ekoso a ehye teacher for ma na won so wani je adwuma no wo ye ni fei awofo enya bankoa na ye nasam aya na to so abang no so be ye ndi na ye sebe wa pressure abang wa bojere wa na me sa onsu amawa so wa ma me so mama wo so wa ma mi jam debi ye je wade ni nyina ma abang ndi so abang aman ke be den
ye hu de be obi the message bi about her also can you imagine I did French but I was posted to a place to teach creative art.
Yes.
Science.
Yes.
Our word, our people. All subjects. Yeah. I'm not teaching subject I didn't study. I don't know how GES do their postings.
Exactly.
Na abakuso ose hanani mako. Hanada ko ose Kwabena, we've learnt the results on the white portals are getting changed. Oh really? Since yesterday, we've not been able to access the portal to check our results again. Anyway,
nti akora me mfa masem mmerɛ na mpanim fo mmerɛ awofo ye wasede say yi wani fi abang so abang ye mayan a wabwa ye so te ase na wonso ye yenyi sika yen say bere wo ye mesuko if so wo ye a sabsab wonye mama abang wonye mayan ye dikan afei yen so a ye sukufo nye ntum say wode won akoskuus won gosuade emfa mobra won tenase na won suade ubehu no wonam no wo yese yemfa ye nensi form wahu discipline ye adwuma teacher wo yesu ku agye din nyina discipline
sure
so what you say untumi nkwa abonten hwe min makonta de ne ade koma ne ba wo Wesley Girls na wanko that so ko wo sang na ode na aduan bai bedi yo what mouse akwan suku discipline wo me say me call Basil Mfidiase school presby primary ekropon presby ye ping wo be ye ana wo renye asebadien na wonya asehwe wo ho ma wo hu discipline enya adwuma na fe teacher fo nso sebe no tase afetenwan ebi mpana no wonya motivation so what you say yen show ngafunom he nia debia na meka me say a hungry man is an angry man say yakocho ba na uhu say nipa bi aduan te say bepow na edwuru na wodi a wan hwe a wusika so aworom ko aya hwe nipa bi ko ba na wokura ki na me pese me
na fufu no sunyina ya ma
o teacher ni no so yo ofia bi hwemu ono so wasede enti yenye wonye ye wonye hwe ade wo teacher fo hu no se won ani mrade den kakra bi no oso hwe ye wo teacher bi a me ko school sectec na ni wo teacher bi o kire mathematics ye tu ni din guy ponjoa woni me ntia za mo wo assembly na mo re baden mu no aba be suade na wo fi ase rule lines or your graph or retwam teacher ni onye ne nkwa papa ne se ne bere se obeche ne time ye nyi obi a sabrante minim ni din na nani nickname ya Pythagoras the whole West Africa ona nkonta out of way you papa teacher ni to ne buas you say teacher fu ni bebre what I want to from me call classes wo Accra Academy kote papa fi onum Mrs Hamilton num Mrs Achampon num Mrs Anso Tunum any one e kan Mr Robson num what the one from na dan ne yade ma won nti wo kira dia oroko pension a na nani su
obi a kira dia so many America da was a woman be tema na dan me yuna ho pa so a kira 33 years na okofie no ni sika de ma no it was something. And teacher motivation e best friend ya kan wasam hwe
enunti sa niema nyina kotia na fe bibia nso ye ntoto yin ani hwa man wahu wo ye na ese na wo Ghana nkwa ye boye ho mranga engosi hwe o me wura ifi ase ka asem bi de ko wi ase
say ya hwe ya e be du bribi no
na training no eye hwe ye kira de wole gon wo ha wo se conference wa ha wo se ko na ko sua bribi wo ne nkrofo nko din sa so na ne a wotia na wo kire na nye se nkwa na wo kire na ye ne ekoso wo wi ase into wo hu yetukwan yekose mananti nkuru amanga huru bebiri wo hwe 2017 the US State Department selecting nipa 18 from the world 4 from Africa say onkosua politics say wo your man no mabu awo man US State Department farm account mama kwai kuhwe wo de enko 9 states ye wo Harvard ye wo Yale ye wo Massachusetts say monhwe niema na mfa nkobu
mo fa niema asaba ka se be dia kira wo
enunti masemnasi say ye hwe sa niema nyina ne ye ya ebe achia ne mu
so mu ye da se teacher motivation ba na eba so motivate teacher so ayampa me Kwabena bi gitu mu preko pese esi teacher fo nkure san se o teacher na tena school from January to December not that school mu a na so motivate no na ne kakra wa no so computer laptop into sat no a oh come on you are not being fair to them at all almost some salary mo to so 20% 30% wo na ka hye o mu nkuran se da modie mo to so bum anya allowances bi na per diem ne na se for na S grand share na mo so S grand share yen so teacher for the kakra yen so fa fully trabe on ahin cry on abokwa na akoka kire o mama me
yen tax kakra ka on ye fema o
ya mo sa so wo o sa ba tax na sa fi me de kakra no ho no sa de bia me ko enti e wo de tax asama ba de na ya ko ye be ko special prosecutor ho na ya hwe na fi later ya be ka
Mati.
It's a parliament. Mwachi mienu. Hane ha. It's a ye-11. It's a mwachi mi atu agene manti asa ye juma.
Oh, so far the info say the BBC na say eh.
Esi say.
Esi say since ye J budget ni to ya start committee meetings on discussing the estimates towards appropriation. Maybe from Tuesday, we start yearly reports. I'm a committee, so maybe discussion of estimates. Normally, I'm a debate na ya vote or so happening. If we are not for appropriation, and Gasana, you will be and the trust our stage na ya be pen yam pen so how the trust is
what na ho money minority ni nyina
well say no man na committee meetings ni the entire one man ko na meetings
enti
once how many meetings ni there but you see eja
yes sir
and na make how the be pie ho no wonim perfectly well say aban ni hwan aban ye me no mienu nyina the fact say we pagya me say me nkonko gina ni mu na me represent to ewo sa friends position and say me ya ban sen wo kra wo ya ban sen bi mu because e bia na katue de mame ene ho tax a yetime no say hwe wo dia na he o teacher ni dia ne dia no kra do so sen me dia ubehu MPB fefefe ubehu your friend say minister bi kakra and so pay a ogie no ebia na ode to professor AP ho a ebia na professor P eso say media kra na ebia minister nya advantage e wo mu na civil servant bi enya bi wo call director bi o civil service bi no ebia be man car ba ko mienu bi ebe man petrol every week ebe man way house boy bangro ni ade ade and no dey different but say basa katua aban je hu sika e dey aye oman ni ye no I can tell you say a lot more people even pay more tax than politicians. Na me kan dey say aban bet me develop krobia na ejina tax a otumeje so. Ye krom ha tax je no ayira yen because ye tax je ni nyina kwa kojina workers pay so. So what you say na say koko ye census here say Ghana for 32 million. You're checking mono almost only about 2.3 million people are on the formal tax platform. IETA tax, corporate tax. Say even came out say adwuma kuo bi kra wo ha mpanimfo bi anwuma kese wo kra sankrofo no umuntua tax. Me dem mo bi adin wankasa wo TV. Na so one for tax na maban no a ebeye den na se bia ban no anya sika no de ahwe o man. And it is the responsibility of government, every government, to look for innovative and creative ways to generate tax or revenue to man the country and as develop the country. Say anya sa a teacher for say make a teacher for omadwom we nyina a social base. Enye ade a self financing as a pamba iska no the ship. A police for a soldier for omadwom we nyina na social base. Enya dia eye self finance na ese omuye enya sika bad betwe omhoka ese abanya sika dishim e bia offer state transport abanya na so don ka say adwuma enya sika twe ono an hoka those are different and this aban benya sika de tuatua sa school for college school fees any teacher for your motivation ya kani ade nyina we need to be able to raise the revenue collection a little bit and this yampe kwan bi so na one more say bom dwan kwan ho ton nyoma anase bi omo say bi your friend say abomofo a bi omo kogunam kokokum kusie ni akrante be gina kwan ho ton omo ntua bi kakra fa mo aban a na say de ni to teacher for so ni politician for so a we can never run this country say wukọ abuchire anase wukọ Italy wukọ Germany wako UK wako London wako Dubai wako say ho fe kwanchan de FSA dey Yediska and yedi. Ghana hanumu indirect tax import duty in tax into our port. It is only second to oil revenue. Kwabrochi UK. Okasa wo sha a new 7th position po. Krobi wo honumu a revenue baby omunya revenue papo here even police a friend saying ticket traffic offenses. Ticket keka police be issue about e wo krom because one park okay ye wako speed what twem red light why you say no eno kwa ma won sika e say import duties ene niam be bri a eso bi atwa aha chapter frache wo de bisa ho yi ba bia wo tie wo fie ho when was the last obi kra be bisa property rate yintua ye jai we e de am assemblies no are not finding very prudent ways of collecting this money I mean no attention property rate area na nke SMA aban sika pa no de hwe because obi otifie bia no at least one year sika sisa dan no ese otumi etua bibi ma ban for a friend saying Tokyo send an easy friend first when etua nobody pays it and it's aban at a point abehunu say what they we're creating an enabling environment ama etumi ye ebia momo for example na momo ye free ye the only people who benefit from it telephone companies or platforms so ye momo no telephone companies or financial institutions they are not even a non-banking institution or one kasa o mate company for fraud ebia MTN mobile money company limited a handles aspect we are only using your platform on platform you use no almost 1% amo capping 10 cedis so it's 50,000 cra 10 cedis nipa na o receive we chire no under normal circumstances so we send a phone two ways so because MTN on your financial institution MTN on your a non-banking a friend saying financial institution bidn't know only agents e wo bebe because se kwada kwaji obia owo baby ATS kadibia a self-made agent a ono akọ bank akọbọ bese de good bag so wo ska wo phone so na so bese wo ji usika da fabra na mentua ma na menye ukakra na fako that business has got nothing to do with MTN. It's got nothing to do with anybody because ideally no yeah the end the way I say ka usika na say usika da phone so so wo pair abaya ye in such a way say on the banks no any MTN for an mobile money company no at me up so but me transfer from phone so to bank accounts no. That was the arrangement then mom so here cash no a obi ankasa be ni kiosk bi aboten ha I was maybe so they would but have some more brother me fam na me nyu bi kakra enya MTN for agent omo ye agent for momo omo ati ankasa to me omo ni MTN o contract say e pa o cho say ni pa kwara be no be gia wo dey 1% pe eja kwabna anu me share da ka che madam fu bi or America na me ka che say be say me hwe sa platforms here this send this key I want to see how you praise on other places and don't send me Western Union 100 Ghana cedis $100 Western Union $100 at the same we are or send it back but on the end there omo ngasa tete omo agents e wo receiving end home into your make sure say receiving end no nipa na news ka or just size ka nyina e wo bia o send no ti wa wo send no na wo twa size ka nyina $100 na or send brem no e cost no $7 that's a 7% 7% receiving agent no okrom ha no eskaka ho ono nkasa no e cost e profit ka ho and aban no wo ho no GST ni PST ehim PST ni GST ni kwa form about 4.5%. Only receiving agent no what they receive about 2.5. Tieni you e wo me phone so me ya chiro receive say we are receipt no photocopy try photo no send WhatsApp 7%. Nobody creates this platform without making anything. So a Visa card and our Mastercard. What if I say we Ghana hampo kra say ha ko yusu eba hwe fees e wo so. Thank you. Aja kakra. What do you pay especially omo America. The ko China ko use or Ghana be use no. Eno kwa da ya na e mo. Obi no create this platform here or ya onyi sika bia wo. But Ghana ban. Ya ni telcos do kan. Hwe mo de mo nyim 1% no. Mo cap na 10. Aban enfa bibia am emeji bibia wo. Edrum pempen so ya feel say esa ban ti nya bibi kakra e wo saadi we. Na ya de boa oman we. Because say but there be a widen tax net and so be am fa dwen ma ye the widen tax net
above obi no mo ka say said you see yenu no I come here say wo mo yusuma mo bro fa ka say ladies man's approach
manu si ampa choda who ka say ladies man's approach what do you mean
meba ebi ka say ebi no susu say sa na betie na
na ke ngon
o se telcos no ana ke bi on baje yeso wa kan se me kura ma yeso wa no akoyi
me kaba ho
ai buji free om ho a say no service om render nti service am render no no mate say masom osoma me som no
10 cedis
na me tew okay nti wa te me awie no ma wie na mo no bonsom me amaja pade am ekura no so na se me mode bo amanya kakra me kura no so wo san bebe boa bia firi ho de akwa na eyensisie sa na bi no mo asusu no wo ma ka
tie ni am tie eyensisie no mama for example sesia me say Western Union for only 7% eyensisie Western Union ni no ti de baby na o se o de be o discover ba metwi de akogana ma metwi de akogambia ma na mom sika bia be se ne bia mejo 7%. So the 7,000 kwa measure 7% of 7,000. What the way kwa measure 7. It can be at measure 7%. And then the see you. Ebia ni anya ni ye anase ni be kwa e fast no ebia ka ye fa be kwa fofo bi so ka ye better. And say I think you catch telcos they no more trust catch mo increase mo service charge no from 1% to 4% and at 1% to 2%. Nanka balance there was no more trust yaka. Ebia sa nanka confess no. Nanka dey ka free and ni penny so no be ehunu say kwa ban ho. Bakobra me feel say at this juncture, when government has created that enabling environment, I would be travel with them 24/7. A year banking. And any part of the banking hall. and a year because of pandemic in the year. And then nipa bebre na akam robbers etwa om kwam adwum sika nyina atwam because between some of them 3 a.m. no ma send momo akwakomo obi e wa manone and I say e be krofo for so all this has been made possible na say aban say telcos yaji 1% all this while obi anka hwe obi abuanfu na aban ba beji kakra wo so say meji 1.75% per transaction send and debit ya na yebuafu say ko ba ne sa na be say e kira aban say ye shock kete we say sisi o man no nemo ye man o de be sisi o man saban anya ne o de be sisi o man ye ntumi ko ye ne
we nkwa na betumi sisi o man esa say akama say Greek minister say yes say live na ma ebema subsidy for cement friend say fertilizer ebe we say sector we say nya live na ebe ha dwene we say it seems say ye the hope na ko say sa live na ye live no a projection okay say be hwe ske bi nya ska do say se koba se bedu satam no be asam na make maybe say wo mu a edis kan ye ekono se ya nya revenue be generate na so nti
question be say me because answer ya okay mama mentu agri minister so waka mentu be some waka but I want to tell you say high budget na we in that budget revenue expected no yeah the friend is saying e-levy expectation na shim fancy say e-levy every year be my 6 billion and here the 6 billion revenue ashim and here they are working settled expenditure say ampene ni anya e-levy no a buy has to go out there and borrow 6 billion to come and solve this budget. We don't have a choice. Sakari ye minumi enuka. And to see me nya nene I don't hear chama banko boss abisiano. Na fe so dey have buy and aban bobisiu. It is a very neat and clean way to make money to solve some of our problems.
Okay.
Obi here kwan.
Okay.
Obi here hospital. Obi here say betu the school fees. Obi here we. E dia kwara no mami 1 minute na mi.
1 minute na afufu.
Mami be say question. Say wo free ha no mo mfa say wo kokuma ase. Udura nyinem railways no so. Be sure say wo say crofo ton and kantie ne and nankoni ade ade ho. Ebi kura ton wane ade ade. What be say wo say crofo no. Wo metu tax da. They don't pay no tax because they are not on the form and I know I'm for that. I know I'm for the say there is no way to capture these people on the formal tax platform. It is not fault.
Okay.
Mami be one more ton
sa o mo di dwa
me ba we kwa mami time kakra me buy enche
sa wo no sa mi jawa ti baba unia no ma ba mu bi o ba mu bi wi because mo question be be sa wo ne pa
mama no nsi na fibra mami a oton wa e wo kwan hu e bi oton basket ba ko 300 Ghana cedis in amount to be ton 10 enya 3000 no obi wo what office won kran ha onya 3000 Ghana cedis no obere mami abotua tax ababai se enyame adom no send mo koma efie for se mo fa monsa ma mo nya bi at least ababenya 1.75%. Papa na oto akrante okwan no se in case o send mo ekobo bomofo so nkokuba bua onkoto bulletin kokuba bua at least ebenya ehun kakra. These are how the ways that you expand the tax.
Okay.
It must say o mindful.
So you
to futuro yani. It is a way and na me den say onye wa we receive kra na butua. Te say Western Union ye me kwa just card $100 nenda minti ahe obi anyi mitaku eno so makwa akwaji demo ni bakwa sane no
and me da say ye hwe akwabi message be apepa ko nanka bisa me kan nanka wadwene ho say edu misamba so nanka we ya no ma me I say don't compare Western Union to Momo. As Western Union is worldwide, while Momo is local. So there is vast difference between Momo and Western Union.
But we answer question, Mama.
Momo asam ya kama na bedua. Say budget ya jatu ya nyintu mu. Ya jatu say the okay. They say minority say ya ne ya impene. Also committee omo na ehia and they say no ya jatu. Sa Momo asam ya Momo asam. Maybe some question be say projection ya adwene say pese ya sika do say. Na se kudu sabre na so nipa na fa sika na Kwabena na wate ntumi ntema ne nyi enti na ede na so sese ye bebi aduro mpempen so ye dure no ye nim se de abetwam no de atwam se bebi aduro no what do you think should be the way forward?
You Jacob na me say me how ni se ne ya de issues concern the budget in akwahye sa e-levy it as if say budget in e-levy but and I feel so ira akwahye society no so political say ye pe obi si ye nyintum obi so my nyintum e ba na sa o say ne your problem o man ye nim say answer yi levy kwa me propose no ye woni bebre a ye de hwe ye budget ene o man so yan pa hira ye e wo okwan bebre so ye kan ye nyai yitum say nyame ehira ye gold your manganese your bauxite your timber ye wo gas the oil yan ko say ade amai 80 without e11 still nyame ama enema a bebre mpo enibie na nso mo koswa ebom bra enti no ye ntimi fa ere go she massive say Ghana nyina bibia ye e11 at the same time so ye ntimi nka say o man si betumi atwam a ye ntua tax because wo hwa o man bia se watu kwan akwa amanone no nia ma o man ye o ban tax a umutua ye ka say o man ayi o man ne koso o man no adwuma wo ho niema nyina systems no work ni nyina gya tax a obutua enu ntina o man no ekoso na wo hwe ye man mu a the non formal part no che say esopa enti amani pa kakra bi eni tax na enam sa ntina majority of nipa no ono ontua hwe na so ontua hwe no opese onya okwampa opese esi hospital ma no opese esi schools opese abrabo no ekokan na ebe eden enti me no me gitu say tax network no esi etibi expand no at least oman ye no oban bia ka oman Ghana ho na ye ntumi twetiafo asema ye ken ye nim se tiafo brabo bre eni esi o ma adwuma nyina ye sacrifice as de bia mo nkoso sacrifice no mumpo no ye tax wo omo kasa omo kasa nye taxa omo tua o na emom omo pe dignity say adwuma wo ye at least didi no obu ebeba mu na no kra so say teacher for adwuma nye teacher for nko ebia health workers any community workers omo nyina adwuma omo ye na hu hia omo nyina so na ye the formal sector yetimi tax wo ma omo tua bibi ma aban yetimi enyankoso. What about the very big sector what would you tua hwe enti no me support say at least it be spreading network say be be at least bet me confidence say no crab or my yomi me so me tax kakra be contribute no e ka ho e na ma my Ghana no ye kokan na nkoye sa no man no hyebre akohye nipa kakra bi ensam enti say ye betumi ayama obi atwa bi ti say in levy me face kwan a betumi afa so but o hwe ne rate 1.75 na for me and no too high because tax bia we introduce so I can say e ko ban sana akwa say bibia akwa e-levy o man so much without e-levy no ye betimi abobra
o share 2020 a year auditor general's report or say about 12.85 billion Ghana cedis a year
so look at the wastage so it is a southwest nya so betimi asi ano any near leakage say wo mu nyina so ye betimi asi ano because say yes tax ye betia but cut to the level of 1.7 ebia point something and even a copper 1% bi just say can say okay it is an opportunity for me an opportunity to give obia chance to say or no so ebetua bibi ama oman no nkoso no more confidence say oman Ghana nya man we are contributing something ama oman akokan but emra ye ka say ebetua bibi ama oman akokan no at the same time wo hwe ebinom so in fact wo hwe CEOs of governmental organizations aketua na anu eba out nipa ba kon ebi kwet bi di sika chen oman pen president ehifa e say man wo ho Bank of Ghana say ni si cocoa marketing board managing director na ketua wodi nipa ba kon so do hwe sa ne man no na wo hwe high corruption we system because leakage shed da lose ni ban niema gap bi ba mu say nipa betimi anya sika di nipa betimi anya sika go bottom betimi anya kwan awia ni dream ni kankan na at the same time say me nyina ye ma ho kwan na also say the tax ba 70 Agya Kwabena.
Ebe ya. Obi say me bisa say me de me momo etua tax a eno so ebe o di o tia tax o eno di momo ena etua tax no enti sa momo ne tax no ko so ye be santi di bio ana me da say
ti na ba ko levy ba ko tax
enti no enti
who can levy
levy enti o say okay enti say no o tax be so tia tax be so tia
I na overture Mr. Tia.
Ana o channel.
Menso me be pa.
So me pa. Ani ma me mra o se na bre mo pa. Se wa church na fe bre mu na fe ko so pa. Enti be bia pray no e ka me se ne a doctor kan no. O se e ka me se ya dwene akwa e-levy. Ama ada eya ka si adwene ko so betumi nye sika ho mo pa krampo no. Ya dwene afiri wo me se
I just remember, I discussed budget quite thoroughly. And I think I hear his argument very well. Then I didn't come over and make an I say tax on the literature, my tax on the ball mine. And I gave two examples that when you look at the formation of the colonies, US staying home free British, the incident of that breakaway was taxes. They said tax without representation. Into the formation of the 13 colonies, a breakaway from the British to form US. Tax was the incident. We had the French Revolution now. The basis of that agitation was taxes. Indeed, many against a tax near the teacher mine. But Mrs. say a tax and come on near and in year. One here near now my betche. The two things. The very first one, do an analysis of the income earned of Ghanaians from 1987 till now. Put on top of that income increase the depreciation of the Ghana cedi from 1998 till now. Look at Ghana and compare his standard of living. Inti so offer Jumayeni in 1987 and even 1997. Now the tutu and now Netibia in the global architecture. Senior his comparable standard of living, saying, I would say categorically that the standard of living hasn't increased. As a fact, it's decreased. So Utiobi or CDR, the Ghana cedi has depreciated for the last 20 years. On the average, about 18% every year. I agree this government has been one of the best governments in managing the depreciation. But over the last 20 years, say ukipi CD enkwa yetia o 500 CDs are in the next 5 years or 500 CDs in the next 5 years is worth about 250 CDs in the global circle. In the next 10 years or 500 CDs doesn't mean anything compared to obia yetia and $500. Inti yes I think commodity wa the baseline they say adwumaya for na yes o mo formal or mo sika no in comparative to their income. They are barely above the standard of living that is acceptable globally. Minimum wage is 12 point something cedis. 12 cedis is less than just about $2. $2 a day. Senior, meaning who lives on $2? $2 what the day. But that is the standard of living in the country. Until once we're talking about a country like that, you don't talk about taxes to build the nation. You talk about a stimulus. I understand, say, government needs taxes. I'm the first to concede. But we should understand, say, in stimulating an economy, I know the argument is being made that in terms of tax to GDP of other countries, tax to GDP, we are just about 12, average is about 16 to 18. So the goal is to push us to what is average. But the big question to ask is, we did a rebasing. 2016, we did it in 2012, just for the purposes of understanding the value in terms of the depreciation, in terms of GDP, and I won't be quick to say that we've ballooned our GDP but the thing is, it's been repriced for depreciation. Into the nature of that adjustment. Now your tax revenue, now for that purposes, your form into the goal is to drive taxes up. Then I have a problem. I think that the goal, senior mechanic here is productivity. How do we engender productivity? oka aban nyuma yetua mpanyinfo ye. What is the return? Most of those SOEs are making losses. Why can't, if you take the valuation of Facebook as a company alone, probably is equivalent to the whole GDP of Ghana. Those those enterprises that are owned by the state, those are supposed to be the companies that generate productivity. Those are the companies that are supposed to increase in terms of build more jobs, bring in a bit more money, so that we pay tax, but we pay tax as a function of income. Adam Smith 101, economics. You pay tax as a function of what you earn. With evolution, indirect tax, and minimum say, yeah, started VAT. The big agitation was on the other side. Because the argument is you pay tax on your income. You don't pay tax through indirect means. And VAT was criticized significantly. And I agree, of course, not me, sir, but me assure say if you look at the principle of it, I completely agree with the principle. But VAT has come to stay. My argument on e-levy is transactional. 4 African countries have tried it. What is the effect of it? Even for them, it was less than the 1.75 year. The maximum was about 1%.
Kenya, Tanzania, and
all the countries had to remodel in terms of how they deal with e-levies. My humble view, Minya, say me to pen 100 cedis. And cash is an option. Why will I pay through mobile money and pay 1.75 on it? Why? Human behavior, I don't see why I will. And if the assumption of economics is the fact that human behavior is rational, I don't see that the expected volumes will remain the same. People will elect out because they have an option to elect out. Because the tax incident is on a channel of payment. It's an election of a transactional method.
Say the once broaden the tax net, you know, or quite between first now, bueno, I idea no day to day. Ebia said all kinds of South African countries, 4 countries here na anko ye no. Ebia one more kwam for so ye no. And ebia one more nye ni ye. Nti no ye de ye so bibi kakra de free wo pair de ekoso ni.
Eja go no me ma wa no nsi. De dikai. Say yetua make 3,000 cedis metua pay as you earn also into my portion of the tax has been paid. Accra mekoto seminar, mekoto Pepsodent, mekoto the necessary things for living, which is barely income rise need depreciation. No, I am barely surviving. In so only that I'm barely surviving because everything again we're importing into the prices. I'm barely surviving. Make your income tax. Make your VAT. I will sign your man so. Ukoto meat pie. I will baby cry. Utia you pay. Miriena se mi di momo. Tia me semna na me koto na.
Samna no tax also that.
I understand we need to expand the tax there. What happened to the 2.5 million people who are paying the pay as you earn, who are paying the indirect? Are we not triple taxing, double taxing? Are we not overbearing them? So those are the conversations. Say we need taxes, but we would overbear the very few people now. Say be omona holding because then it appears say me tax. In VAT, metia VAT. Na mi yusu momo so wasa me 1.75.
Honestly speaking, I am now getting to understand why the whole country or a lot of people in the country are in disagreement with this. Because if me penny forcing was a position and dangerous. Number one, you said, sir, what to pen utia. Some about trouble paying him na me ton pen and 70 utia. For cash it here. Till number two, Momono is used as a way of conveniently saving yourself a lot of trouble. 1, risk. 2, cost. 3, convenience. 4, safety. And in the account. Or me fancy what is legon. When we say obi ton Adam Smith book bi or the across or Kaswa. Book will cost 1,000 Ghana cedis, right? You want that book. So if you say Momo 1.75 in the boarding, let's go to the bank. You will see Faka, Kokaswa, go to your book in Kaji book in Abra. Beba, Nafa compare say an enabling environment be a buyer creative for you to operate between MTN and Airtel, Vodafone and Celtel. Do it 24 hours 7. Do it at your own convenience and at your own time. So the betria, no 17 cities 50 pesos. Na kwana a delivery person anyway, bro. Just compare and tell me say.
The wood your hand and kaya.
Okay, that's it. Me end na make sure say. Nipa ya osane. You see you ni bremi. Yati ni pay you. Oya juma. Sika no de sane, you know, he is using a certain service. SaaS service no cost any 7%.
I know service charge.
Yes.
Service charge.
We have a fee, friend. We friend charge fee levy.
Service.
But somebody has to take money for a friend saying a service that.
But a service rendered.
Service render whatever we are from Anukusi. That's what I'm saying. There's no payment method that can equal.
I told them
say make an election, say me depend way me to when ma mintia kasha. What you just admitted to is that the volumes as you projected will not be the same.
No.
No.
Okay.
And then you put in the example, say me kokaswa. Probably because of the traffic, I would prefer say
not traffic, the cost, convenience,
which is all the things you measured. I would probably prefer to make an election to use mobile money.
Pay 1750.
The problem with that analogy, and they say 100 cedis and a mede kotoa, that 100 cedis to buy the book is not an income, it's a transactional value. The transactional value is a function of into 100 now the mame say me na me top anyway now mame 100 cedis now 100 now the mame me the 100 need to book now. The government is reducing the incidence of the transaction by 1.75. Say me can say me ma 100 cedis we margin a 100 cedis no so enye 100 no. Imagine a 100 cedis probably a 2%. But
you are listening to yourself.
But
100 cedis, it is even less than, we need less than 100 no more because we got to the VAT also. Yeah, because what you are taxing.
But the point I'm making is
it is 17.5 100.
No, but the point I'm making is that using the e-levy reduces the incidence of people's margins on trade, so it affects productivity. That's the point I'm trying to make.
But you know, it doesn't necessarily
like that. And
I'll explain to you. Talk tax the buy, and the same argument went on. In fact, I was even going to bring the Hansard here and read to you what Haruna Idusu said. Read to you what President John Mahama said. Haruna Idusu thought say a prima talk tax the buy, a mobile phone subscription a conform. Because people will not want to pay the tax.
President
John said that internet conform because President Kufuor fiber optics all in home man for because internet penetration be reduced because people will not buy be reduced. What happened in 2008 as they were doing that discussion? Mobile phone subscription was 7 million. Today it's 42 million. Did it go down? Hold on. Remember, hold on. So let's assume that everybody in Ghana use 2 mobile phones. More than 20 million today are subscribing to mobile phones today.
Okay.
It is sad they bring productivity down. The convenience of Momo will not allow the usage of Momo to go down.
Okay. You know, and so the Numusoka Krame, send a doctor who you don't know. Dr. Santi,
Mifia say every parliament.
You
parliament, and then baby, I watch him. Na parliament wo edwuma woye ahoro ebien na maka one function back here representation function wo gina ho ma one man
yes
enunti wo mpesa ahoro ye wo ahanu edioso nganum 275 honorable no da no won de gina ho man won edwuma ba ko ne enunti wo ye niam wo hyemra no ho niam wo ko won achi na won aba constituency ho na won yen be din kita ho wo ye daba na won hu yen asema ha yen wo de abre parliament na kwa ban ho na abang policies and programs won aba ye doba na won aka kire yen sa abang say na abang ye ni nti wo ye nwuma wo gina ho man won adwuma ba ko ne say wo approve budget abang na budget ne ye near maybe in component expected revenue any expenditure.
The actual says
yes.
Any
revenue expected. Expenditure constant. Good. I like that. I like that qualification.
Orisha said na obinyan tobra. No de achiche oman no. Esa ne say ye wo ene maybe ye ti say ye boka wo ho na ye de oman no. Enu nti oya. Ode be to parliament anim na won agya atum anase won anya antum. Asam. Na ofi ho a ye mehwe budget no a wo ye no niema bebree kom na ba kwa a ye hwe wo hwe taxation so to say ntobra you to ahoro a ye gigie no ene wo de oman obi ka kire wo so obetuma ye oman a wunye ntobra anya what we petetu yo if so men bi a wo ye no wo hia sade political science ye fra de bi say state capacity and then say resources onyankopon di ama wunyina no wo de hye wonsa sa ban fa ye adwuma wo ya akwan anan sa nan ni fi wonsa fail state omang nagu ye fra ba ku say extractive capacity say wujije ntobua na wo de omang nti sa ban bi wo ho no ntumi nyije ntobua o se o ena mu ntua mo tax nti mitumi nya sa ban na fail we fail state capacity sa ho no why weak nti bra conversation by obeti so say fix the country na bank of if you na wuntua tax na bank to me say a bank of kasa jai if so one ma mara see mo to me you tax na fa ya dwuma so yes wuntu me nya you have failed sa capacity ye wo ba ko ya friend administrative capacity men ko ho me de extractive capacity nti sa bank ni gije tax a me na kwan nan esa na se wanya sa niam nan susudua no efiensa e fail state na sa bank ontumenya ba ko ye ayi wo frɛ regulatory capacity so wo hyemra wo di adwuma wo adwuma mfa nya adwuma e fail state wo be call men bi mu na obi aye ne opɛ so man na e fail state everyone sa na ye nyina ayi extractive capacity wo gigye ntobra na wo gigye ntobra esan se wo gina ho maminti ete se ye getum so wo ti ase nti wo hwɛ James Otis asamo kan wa American o say no representation no taxation say wo be tax no wo be gigye ntobra wo ho a ete se won esima nan mu no wo getum se sa tax metumi anamintumi so adani yes adan emma yen a won egina yan nan wo parliament wo ni na getum se sa di so wo hwa NDC fi ase bo won hanya afi won afi ase yes wo san won achi no ho nema san konta no wotin wo ho so wo ti ase enyam fom so aban be di to na emu wu gigi a mama na emu sifu ya wo ho nyina yenyentum se ni awode ban if you say tax a day upompo eyade na taxation without representation o say ye tyranny e tumi ntraso enu nti wo ba be yesa de a eye nkunta nkomodi ahoro won nipa didi ekueku didi nkomo na ma yesa ne mani nyina ma nipa komato yem if so bi eni wode ni getua tax na mom wo say kasa anom ayi wo frɛ na aba kasa etasum no eno na ma aba to form nti o se metie nkomo bi wo say about the lazy way odinya sika san komo no so mente ase so what you say hey ye your man ade bi abang betumi de nsa som enya biribi afim de ayo man no odi yaduma enu ntumi nke say a lazy way there if you say state capacity no kura kira say onyi je ntobua na baby a mewo haw ne say wugije ntobua wonyi je ntobua atwa mene etwa mene if you say yen show men mu ha so what you say ahwo kire wo menya economics for actually say you santo bua na wugije mfom so ni na nka wudi fi 0.5 besi 1% anka babua ya me eho na me wo if you say eno na won enim o man sika nkonta na nhyehyɛ make economics won asɔn so ehu sɛ nea ekoso adwuma ni hɔ nea ekoso ya akatua sa na nsɛn want to akatua ma 4% wo hwɛ article 71 office holders hwɛ nea wɔde kofie totro yɛn a yɛ adwuma na nso yɛn yɛdan so what you say into wo hwɛ sa nkonta na ɛhɔ ɛna mpanin case look wodi gina 1% anka babu ayen so hewi ni na me gidi say it is a bang no otono gas or reflect odwemu no hu say enya de ayen ani de hu sa 1.75 e ho de wo so na mo me getum say sa bang na nya opportunity a obetumi nya sika bi wo ba bi a mfumsu bi e no wonga ke say lazy man's approach e ho me ne won nya adwene na mom ne dodo any effect on us and e so onhwe nti ama san konta se ne nti ye kasa ne mani nyina na se ye nhu fit bright the time of Noah when he was a sailor ye nhu se ye de aban ye de resources ne manyina ma aban horo ye nyane nyina edu ba bi ye waste dos sika kogu nipa bi kotokum wodi na wodi dimrante sama enyo man adwuma no kware auditor general report kire se sika bi ayera ne ho ne ama so aban won fa na saadi na fe wi asa no be gimeto enunti se me tua sa to na me bisa me hu se so me de ma wa obetima hwe so ya na e ho na nkonta no aban nkonta nko hoye na isa ne se ne o wa ka osunson me hu se muntumi manage niama menka sa ben nko ya aban huru ye nyani nyina sa auditor general report no eye se sanse me waste wo mu bebere na sa ye susanu a me de se e babu aye wo hwa ketua wo men ha enkoye na mum ubisa ho nso se aban be nyesika wo no be mo bia ho ato sa nkonta no nso yensi ye na mum eni nti wo de to gaba wo hwe sa nkonta nyina no waso nso de yan gira baabi na ye nyina ye ho adwe ye ho adwe ho no aban nkonta aye mrew ye hwa de bi wo men ha ye wo economics wo be kire so wo friday bi political business cycle aban bia ne oya aban no wo position so wo reto abama na wo da ti won campaign won ade a wo gina so baako na ye research ehu se o memu ade baako a Ghana fo gina so de to aba number 1 e the economy so man koso ya enye ndisi enye mpipe enye kube e ya be na mum ye nyina ye ho toye na eno ne ye nti wo ba hwa obi a economy no hwe se o man sika nkonta den asem na wo ka kire eni nti se wo ye wo hwe sankonta no so bi e gina so nti aban biara obeba no wo be hwe so opposition a ni message ne se obeye economy ni obeye se wo ma wontumi a me ne nyina ye beja tum se wo behu se wo re dan wo man nani economy ni wo ye ni sa bankro na ne kwa bato a wo re sei o man economy na wanya tumi enye no kware wo tu sika pete wo buye ma che sadaka mu a wanya 50 Ghana ne ho ne ma was economic theories a wo de ye adwuma nyina abankro ya san tugu ne nga ba besi ko kwasi ko ni ogina nkwantia ne nga sa besi ko nti ye kwa ho kirim and only a part of the bad governance ebe senge nti eba na say fe de uba be tutu anamon bi ekogije taxi bi a ebe mene yen na sa ne mene nyina sa ban hwe a ebe bua yen efe niema bi wa ha ban ya yenti na ban hwe aban ni tumi bi a yen niema ni tumi enti aban ya de bi a etise yehu transparency ade bi a oye mehu enye wo sabe wadwuma bi na oye eye mene wadwuma na me se koye ndu ya ma mehu aban nyuma bi ne niema bi sika nkonta bi ngrofo bi sa ho asema na ayede enu nti wo kese wo je tax pe no bi kese so wo ja wo ba mahu niema bi mana sa niema ni nyina mo aban nkai se so otutu ni ya bi na fe wo hwe good governance wo fe bi accountability eye obiara wo te public office ene wo nga wa ben mo se da bi wo ho ankonta wo bebu ya chiro bi ya nkonta buda wo ho enu nti se wo hwe aban na niema bi wo ho na se oso ntie kanka bi obeka na wonka bi ne ho niema wonka hu se nkonta buda wo ho na sa da no ya bato da ya bato da enu nti mpanin a wotie wontie nga so pam na se ne ye kan eto asoma
wotie me da se
wa kasema atoma kuma so in fact waso mo kanyina ye perfect na I believe say nyame nko na metie mpanimfo ni ibi president kura say kura wo tie
o hwe pa
na misa question back. Let's assume that because my argument be thank you rate this one kay ebi ana me kura me wo so I believe no but we can be me say expected revenue na okay no sa 11 year the so 1.75 no I be my infant 6 billion 7 billion a year no ye dey aba share expected revenue and ye dey work expenditure no say in case ye peniposi ante so 1% shortfall no we have to go and borrow money to come and subvent it. I hope that you agree.
Baby nkunta wo ho nkunta wo ye ebi ni waste e wo menyimun o kate a wo de to so ba ko ni waste auditor general report no so madi huduma
so because me no odi hu nkoma be different
bi ba ko ni nia atusu bi ewu betuma hwe nioma bi hwe bra Agya de no bai no nipa bi so wompene me say dabi me nkonta different fabra beto parliament essence wo si ane wo mobo hu se wo hu se ya de pa ebebo menyi sa nkonta bi befi wo abebo ensi kaka kwan so enya no kware no kware nti ye wo niema bebre se na doctor ko ye wa kwan bebre a ye betumi enya ntobua ne de aboa na mo de mo ani kire baako se aha sabe owuo nkwamo aha ne mejedia mo premu hu etumo se wo yere sa mo ja na beba so wo ti ase wonya na sa oman na wo checha eye ka na menka bi ane wo se ododo amemu so wo ti ase wo betuma ka se wo ye majority but adia democracy
say great majority ni obi
democracy next one de ba ko ne se also a majority decision. There is an aspect of democracy we friend the minority interest. Mo the majority mo da wo be say minority be say yare mpene asamaba na nti da bia wo balance saden majority decision minority interest. Take our interest into consideration. The master mo nyina be wie but mali too jombi no ne ayi wo friend the Benny Willa no. So when you live for yourself you live in vain. But when you live for others, you live again. They should live for us. So they will live again. Bema to me, bibia mo hwehwe to me.
What's some Kwabena papa uniaba aye Obapa Francis Kwabena ECMC Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. Good morning, ma'am. I'll say good morning, Agya. Please tell the panelists talking on the standard of living must know that the variants include household statistics as well as health and educational services, among others. He must be more forthcoming and stop twisting the tax debate. Obapa Medase also choose between tax burden and Dutch disease. And now when you the best or can waste in same be. How do we fight the waste? Corruption we say we have ready but you be 2 minutes be I can be kakra for one. Major public accounts committee. I friends
Public accounts committee.
Because me kuma obi betwe di sika say boom.
Oh, that go me go prison. I had this. I okay.
So baba I feel we say sika say and okure sika say we say akunta we na say buna enti no say $30 million in Ghana cedis na ewe he. Ye be hwe ne ayen ho adwuma na ye nti bibia bio enti me meja hwe enti sa waste ye kan ho asemi no ye be dey yetumi akon atia wo bra yes we are mampeni say we are fighting against corruption
and we are protecting the public purse.
Enti fighting against and protecting the public purse no ni mi no ye ka bo mu no say to me protect say ni yie na ye fight against corruption akasa ye le bisem se kan ka beba 2 minutes.
Well, me that say, Agya me starting free public account committee idea working. Etori bia say ye hwe ni hu TV so. Na say what as you rightly said, say ye correct and as bibi kra ba ekire a won tehwe bi o. Just because that portion na available to the public. Okay. Yes, ekire de hu. To tell you the honest truth.
And the moment you want to hear
well, there is no provision in your modus operandi to bring back what has already that's what have been resolved. But I can tell you, say, public account committee now say about TV so I am here kind. I tell you, you better discard that particular document. Not correction, no. Because you have printed document, it doesn't reflect. That is one thing I want you to know. I told you, you know. Sika or see a year and Sika now say a corruption. Where would term corruption? Let me put in corruption a very big word. In 3 stages. First one is mismanagement. Second one is misapplication, and the third one is misappropriation. Mismanagement no is what we consider as tax evasion, and I say tax falling to me NJ sa tax see acquire so much so ama you lose ska. In fact. And no quite for 55% of the total evasion, and I say, Sika is actually organ. No, so mismanagement go for 55% of it. Now, even between 2016 and 2017 alone, they calculate about 6 billion cedis as monies that went out and as that got lost through mismanagement. But I can tell you, say, answer as that document was read there. No? Now, a lot of recoveries have been done. About 80% recoveries were done. I don't know one thing. And Ayana and yet or mindful and I say a friend say one more omutua tax no effort. I told you na collectors no so mistakes in terms of calculation.
Who say be one recovery aba na wu and good governance and then krabata ba ko transparency so say near moye moma
and say we need to create yes I agree, but we need to find a way to bring that into the system. I agree with you. I agree. But I can tell you, if everyone cry there court, if one nipa corner dey give this kind of crowd. Well, it is. Mema GI for aswati. Okay. That also mean misapplication. Misapplication, no. A large about contract irregularities. Say ebia obi ekwakoji contract bi na wamfa kwan paso na say ya nye formalities nyina nwie ni ade eno ayana MMDs no etore bia na kwan so mfa so kra issue contract no no man nyusu lay down procedure ni ade auditor no obebehwe na wanye ne saa sika bia everyone say wo dia masa contract bia o calculating as a loss to the state and all the above pam eno kwa form I think about 25 or 30% of the total Sika say abayin lusu sa billions through corruption. And the third one is misappropriation. I know here basically let's say we have cash irregularities. Ebi mo any salary any salary no. Mo friend ghost names any ade no. I ain't been check. Nti say auditor general the report ba. No be ka say ebia sika say put say e cut through the drain. And yet always the case is Sasi cannot go through the drain. So the medical can number one. What mommy I saw answer no. Actually be about 80% of the recoveries are even done on the backside. And say never but about you me the back me the back no catch the ban say say the better TV so e can e man crofo yam hye no. Sa na se bo sa ka bia. Mum ye the last year dey buy no. Say ne nsa ka ansa ne akọ this year dey.
I don't know when to me gina ho defend them. Say ne am kan no enuni. Oh say na de no ko dey me
meja hwe ya. Meja hwe ya wo say eyi. Nti
okay nti eno na me pese me dey BBC. Say you can say about 12 billion corruption ni adi kakaka bia. Yeah na me I don't know how people even understand the word corruption. Honestly speaking, say if you give me the permission to sit here and speak about politicians, any corruption target they attack on. Me say abide in government. Abide at government. About 98% of the politicians in that government are not exposed to situations that can make them corrupt. I don't know whether you understand me, doctor. Say MPP woman say MPP woman. Me, I'm here as a parliamentarian. Me executive, me board member, me minister, me only member of parliament, head of and as a chairman of parliamentary committee. In what circumstance am I going to avail myself? I said, second be available to me for me to be corrupt. Me nye sekajuma, me nye contract juma, me nye hoya juma. Oh, it is a corruption e kan kakra near the bo politician bam. Only 2% of the people in government are exposed to this situation. A bit to me, I'm on my corrupt if they want to be corrupt. Ministers, Agya, chief executives, Agya, whatever. So, all no me exposed to that situation. And Tisaukas will be a corrupter. Men I mean, because sacrifice a corrupt. Bakas will be a corrupter. Just measure a quanya nipa bet me afaso dey corrupt don dey attack that body. Eto so me no. Say medical kano. Auditor general nankasa ono dey oyen adwuma. So oba na ka catch us what to see 2 cedis. For receipt bre no be a receipt no that no we hwe hu. Eso chogu the book mu. Say receipt na so that so 2 cedis no. What me and receipt in that 2 cedis no abanya hwe. Wa hu nsuo no dey but receipt in ka ho dey. On record so what nsuo. E di sa e bia o chena ugogogu receipt na because what trial report na wi ntino on to me sesa no eno beba parliament e me dey adwuma that time na ne saka sa to this 2 cedis receipt no e ni sa nwema we nyina wo ho se anka wodwin se aban betra say 12 billion finance ase no to work keke no sa nyema nkete best management application is ana masa ne ma
ya to anyema ya hye anyema ya sa misapplication and misappropriation hwan ya sa
sentina god na continue na nyina di adwen toto etoto hwan ya di move go forward. I am very sure say ebedru baby no digitalization ya start friend saying aban we e dey ba me gina so dey ye nyoma no say to be cause wa sa na ma wo nyina wo kekete say to me make sure say we go bibia ne tia in so sika say to me make sure say you get to that point now you digitalize it you nyoma bibria all these things were digitalization is a way to reduce incidents of having that your friend saying presence of mind
enchire mu ne niema shada ameya wunyini sa no so ba ha adwene person say ye kan nyina ye di internet ye so Ghana internet ne bot
ena ya me jama doctor mo no so niema be say said you somebody buy I expect civil society organizations and as opinion leaders like you people let us can be especially about the free SHS can be say sabanjin say anauna ka say sabanjin say ne board man no
dem me ka
be hold ka ne board man na yan che when throw it in the public space na ye ni hu komo aban no na de aba aban cannot bring that on board but wo wan hunu e be o tie che aban brade de aban de ye enso he's bleeding fabra na lawyer mo mfa meka bi doctor mo meka bi no mo nyina fo ma dwo ne yen kan no man fo ntiase me jetu mebre say yadi ye doctor say okay 11 no na mu medication no an ko ne mebre I agree.
Okay, me da
so
so.
Me sure say mo tie. Obi a otie nso ntie doctor na o say
honorable me de bia adibia menim se bebu omen me fancy omen me ba bonten ma keka ne ma bi o peace from program so bebre na ya ye ke bi wo ha enkosu be ya
be ka me ntwa so
bi wo ho nso ya ye kan hwe ye te ha na traffic how yen ndi nipa kwa adwuma wa si mesi so kuro obedu 10 oye adwuma kakra 2 afa na bag ne niam akọ yen loro kwan ai wo ho nyina wo be hwa architecture in such a way say bibi wo ha obetumi dia to mfimfini hwe na mo Geneva Switzerland na wo loro kwan ha ne ha mfimfini tram ne nem den na esi we ho kwan say yi bituma tram
sika ben ne de be nya 11 ya kwa wo so se de bu
I say what they come with honorable how MPP were about to what can we say are you afraid of free SHS they be na make say enye mekonko an wo de nkwan abe nkate bomone ne ho niam SHS is very good but near maybe an amaye no muja akura mama da wuro na me say wonye sa mon kan masam enye bi no be kan masam mama so we good governance concept na o say transparency accountability any information flow inti mankrofo hu asam na won na ndi na baumia digitization me can piece from say me support so it's answer that so tie statisticians o say of data settles all argument
thank you
I didn't think that hwe so wo hwehwe
and now babo me na
wo say wo gold you wo say wo gold was asimo wo be dey quantity na digitization two components data technology wo say wo gold wo Ghana gold ebu afa so maybe say quantity ahina wo wo need data wo hu na wo hu ya it so be ehu nti digitize ba wo me say digitize me mia wo me dem gold na na wo so wo say obi ehu na ye nyina ehu ya etinye ne hu so wo say legon year research if you mpona no if you keta could do elubo wo so ye wo ba bia wo ko ayi wo friend dem F science what research that was e data won collect o say nti wutu na woni ba bia ko nti mid digitization is everything it's an say wonima wontumi ya na mo wo be dem hu say mmabun woni adwuma ye ese wonya data wondodo na fi hu nyuma wo de beka mo ama na bisa won a wo se won pen nyina so say party bi we need power obetumi twa digitization
don't to be that
Assembly
ni ampa etina
all right just
to na ye share the
maybe and but I think obi send a text about in terms of the quality of living I think I agree with her safety and healthcare is part but cost of living purchasing power and property to income and I will challenge her to put the data non Ghana ranking on the global index of quality living And I am not twisting the conversation, just to make that point very clear.
That's it.
But on corruption, I think that if any government has put in laws that would help us, as a lawyer, help us fight corruption, it will be this government. And I think that they need to be commended for that. But the law and implementation...
Not the PFM.
Emranonko.
Let phone yes.
Mo fanche. Say na kan teacher bo me class 4.
And I can say
my dream nyina ya.
Never see my boy mo akoba.
Inti ohe aban a ode mra a ye de fight corruption ato akwanmu. I think the MPP aban in terms of the law has done probably more than any government, I would dare say. But implementation of the law is another conversation. From Right to Information Bill to Witness Protection Act, in terms of even amendment of the criminal offences and fiscal responsibility,
special prosecution.
Even the office of the special prosecutor. I think that in terms of the legal architecture, they have done a bit more than a lot of people. So I think that needs commendation. But the law is one thing, and the implementation of the law in society is another thing. And I would like for the sociologist, who is a doctor, to end. For example, one of the conversations I have with my friends on corruption, what is gift and what is corruption? I have had the privilege of working on anti-bribery and corruption policy for a few companies. And if you have a conversation with them and you want to legislate in the policy to say no gift policy, a blank no gifter, you realize that on the table, it becomes almost impossible to move on from there, because your society where gift is accepted. Is a part of the society to give gift. Now the question is, it influences the nature of work. And as a mini gift nibi mana, to what extent does it affect quality of work? I think that there is a sociological conversation to corruption which we need to have.
And there's a political.
And I agree to the politics, but in terms of the legal architecture, I think that the law exists for both the criminalization, prosecution, and punishing. But as a lawyer, it only becomes a social conversation. Who are we prosecuting? If indeed it's as bad as we say it, then the evidence must exist to the point that we're prosecuting people. But to the extent, and that's where the political dynamic comes in, and I agree with Doctor. But I think that there's a political nature in terms of the political will, say about prosecuting or otherwise. There is a sociological conversation in terms of even our definition of corruption and what a gift is, and those conversations. But in terms
of what kind of me sana would one way see me say, yes, see fight corruption. Say you dem man be bad because the special prosecutor office aba, the right to information bill aba, the we aba. I did the thing in abegua, and so I did no for so say nya oso ni tumi nya oso na no ntie mfa to say upon all the policies ne laws ne one ne offices asset ni nyina no. Are we reflecting? I walk quite a catastrophe project.
I just remember say answer now be short there no better at the answer. As a lawyer, and Mimi Susu say the legal framework and now be implemented, because as Doctor talked about state capacity, is the laws that gives force to agents of government to implement. Answer now ye drew how it even takes effect. And how we execute it, the laws must exist.
Okay.
In that breath, no. But the law is not everything. It's the beginning point. It's a tool. I was in terms of Emrani, there, I think the MPP are buying.
Why are they?
Has done quite a
lot. Emrano, nipa ne emamre ye adwuma. Eti but say morally, we are talking fighting corruption. But how can people who are morally corrupt fight corruption? So, any situation you will right from societal base, a lawyer can just say corruption is accepted from a handful. Cry say, as some call him in crown, as we did day, echo and son what mean in cry, akasa. So, it's yan unquon say, obi baby cry, so over can be so, I don't say, Eddie attending. Say answer no be krama wo so di kan ansana
anything for the boys
even among politicians for kwano they say me want to be tia Any ye di na chi o. Say wo system nu ana constituency.
Primacy baba
so.
so.
Just wo ye out. Anti-corruption no from the grassroots. I am here to the politician but grassroots cry more serious. Say say ye timi serious
bibi what mama na say we say or hospital crash or kwaje even ne card cross ho ankra na bibi sakra na nurse no ho na say opopunde nyu eno ka so pe bi kakrama ne se ne be ya mama oda hehwe ne ye mama wati but nurse na dwuma sanko be hwe oyarefo no da no na so me mama ne da no ti de gina ya na o me oni akọ
teacher ni kra san ne beba wo ba so
ba o so tipo no
eso o tipo no eja ko na
no corruption social media
and no that's the definition conversation
no what can corruption yes what can corruption
yeah but what we say
influence who position of influence now we use
for personal gain.
It's corruption. But then, but now,
teacher, you know, man, is because of any man, or position of influence.
But you see, that's corruption.
Oh.
That's the normal. That's the conversation.
Ama corruption no akwa so normal and so endemic say ya nhwe ni ye na adwen say fighting corruption better fight ya na I say that ho I think say like senior teacher for asemi oh say me ba mu say a Christopher no hin because aha any ye kan nyameso mpa na ye ka se Ghana ye nyameso man corruption ho any ehu ye nyameso a yes so na ko na sa na ye say aso dan mu ade ye ni chese de bia nyum to na ye ka sa mu na ye say ye so nyame na ye da ho corruption ye so serious say ye kan ohia abobo die ene bre abebre se nyina ebufa kesi nyajan how corrupt the system is baby any was corruption what or man ayi da development nations nya baby any wa omo jejeje so ma development papa it be ba mu it ka corruption say Kwabena em say so serious say Bible say for lack of knowledge my people perish say nya ehunim dey say how do we settle it you can only settle it if we are morally upright morally upright it doesn't come just automatically I think nyamsompa ni nyamsuro and
say the dua yemu
esidua yemu and yes so ya ja to Ghana for nyamsom for pa meanwhile e ka corruption say aha na endemic ni nyamsom be ni yeso
some say
eti edumra I think the churches will sit up say dada e ho say ye duduo ye na ma ye duduo nti Ghana nyamsom man ye nyamsom papa no say a Christopher I go politics a Christopher a journalist a Christopher a doctors Muslims teachers we have to stand out to show say your career and as your juma yo and as your vocation a ministry yankopon duadua ye ba bia ye adwuma nyina to represent also nyame na agenda na nkoba say ye hwe nyame ne agenda and as a pepper ye no nukredie ne che say se ne be a be adwuma kan ne rather ye dwen ni a ye benya firim a na eno no ye person nkunya ye nyame so ye say ayira ye nti adumra ye say ye Christopher man ya
reflect so ya dada se transform that say
kitwebi what's it mekobi mankabi wochi south as what can corruption mentioned from 2013 basically 2020 so what share I were friend and Transparency International say you meku na what share corruption global corruption na so what share NDC if 2013 14 15 corruption no we won adwuma na mum anto sa ne MPP aye clear so wo hwe MPP 2017 na NDC recall wo refi office no ranking no na NDC da 70 na wo recall soro wona se wo recall 0 na tell say wo no tell we clean wo recall 100 na wo bebeti na NDC da 70 no we see from 2017 MPP back 2017 no da 81 waba 18 no wada 78 waba 19 waba 80 20 wada 75 omo say netem inti sa perception enye me na meka wo say eye industries eye ayi wo friend them business people eye analysts no way sam kontan na me de asem ni nyina ne say corruption no say na lawyer kan no ni definition back no say aya na nkrofo nim ni nchichem ye wo mako political science ye 14 niema wo ya corruption conflict of interest corruption moonlighting we adwuma bi wa na wo part time bi wa iho bribery
Press Saudi adwuma
yes se mrana ne se edwuma wura na fa se wo bri nyina fa ye adwuma ma na me
na time we fire me
na wo pon na wo ka taxi o pese wo kofi a wo home na unya hode na wo be ye adwuma
never no ben
se wo kura taxi
aya kwa betie bi o shop no ko
se honorable wo kura taxi no na wanya accident na wo da hospital so here then say anopa program when to mama so one gbe adwuma na ka onu no tia wo ka onu obo bibia moonlighting so they say a part of corruption kickback eye makoma ko hwe yenya bre ne memfa mu eye 14 makoma kickback fraud then eye niema bebre na omen niema hu ne corruption ye de ngano na ka meka ne ping oh ye be say aya ne ye de campaign asam oh me ba me fight corruption if say yanga ye me PAD me hwe niema nipa gina so no woto aba na the third item apart from economic development corruption what abanga obetum be ba say ordinary basic form na waka kata se na pro watuase ana wabre na ase nti Ghana fu gina so pa na wo hwe abanhoro ye fi 92 ya wo de ngano wo be ye ba kwa ebie ngano ngwaguan ba kwa ebie ngano ngwaguan yanga bang nan kokomu nya den otumi kese medi o se ayo na oyi wotra me de wokọ se iyo esa na se wo do nsa kan party ni a yo wo bete na wo bete po sa ni man na ni bebre na nso ye socialization yetete wo mofra no ye mfa ni me bi nche wo mu corruption ye twen na mofra wie university wie be ye public worker o sente so ye corrupt satan wa ye nkurumesen woni nkurumesen a ubua emu but ye fresh na ketu wo ubua nebu tete wo abofra no wo fie say adiwe corruption nti no we fifie if say socialization start with the family ohia wa ko school de ne curricula echire me abofra na buzia no time no watch civic education you can eyi wonye wo duty as a citizen the do's the don'ts say sane man that na jejem oh etia abofra chire efe ni PS nso ba be hu say sadi enye emwe society no osua efe ofiwa oba public place no ye adwuma sane man nti yen yetwen abofra na wi o ye adwuma abanga adwuma o se ntse so ye corrupt satan wa ye nkurumesen yew wa twam wo ye ne hwe ye na ye hwe sa de na ebebo na efe ye hwe se ye gitu ye ho so se corruption ya de a ha wo man nyina da na ye yen adwene se ye betu ase aden hwe wo hwe loro kwan wo ye wo man mu ade bia na ye loro kwan yen conversation nyina yen komu nyina ye infrastructure na mbisa mo se da ben ye be fi infrastructure conversation if so maybe I would infrastructure hon if say who development no market ra it's an incident corruption why a lot of kwanga no be 10% 5% na why you kwan bia keke no be ntumi kana
no no speculation na say
Peter say you can report
I want it
so we na me ma asema wo say wo na nti amasade no edi so no say citizens we have not been vigilant enough share price can say o say vigilance is the price of liberty me per se nipa bi take crusade say look wo be your campaign lord kwan wo ye abanwa ye yo chere yen bra ebedi erensai esaya ma campaign ye reto abeti awo se ye gina ho sa
ebebo ye nyina
bia
me da se
anya ma me fa we ntwato ya doctor kan me se me kan bi doctor I think say what can you na ye die but ba ko wan kan mama nti ana se papa kan ana ba social doctor mo na kan me say yankasa ye nature by nature ye moral
The culture.
Upbringing.
I think
Remember,
cultural.
sabotage.
Why would take the cultural dimension? Yeah.
And I say no one suffer from that. Kwala na kete we say na beba so de bia.
Socialization.
What is sabotage? Just imagine. Me pata me question. I don't mean any harm. O papa na hwe na o papa na hwe.
Me ana. Me mama na me papa.
O mama na papa. Okay. Imagine this is here what they gone. You we a doctor. We a big man. Na papa fro say abofra bi oba. Sanya ne papa ana boa no mini bia anko no nya ba bi kra nyina. Also admission. Hwe no results na mo mfa no. Wunnim say wa me amfa kwala na. Wa de o papa boni.
Ono abu David.
Me o de meba me ka se me.
Mbaje yo.
Kwan bia so. No matter what, you will try and get the guy and the person employed at the disadvantage, and I say at the detriment of other people who have passed. It happens. Ebi awonye. E asem na make.
O na mama fe ntwe na to
o ha wo ntwe mo we say me train of. Oh, doctor, yeah moral upbringing, temperature, cultural.
The cultural temperature.
Mama into a typical corruption and I say a corrupted situation is even on our roads. Fasa wo kaka, woko. No bi nam chen. No do be so rem. Na wo wanya komapa ama na rem. E bomba do man such chance why corrupted. Everybody who comes after him obejida manipa kwa ba be rem. Na your detriment why man kwanzo obejida. Anya corruption. He's been corrupted by that favor you did for him.
Nya okay me nyewe and na make the socialization concept and say socialization on abomba 1 minute. Socialization here ntete pa ye de abofra fam. Na wenyin abeso aba.
Na na what culture you see so
it starts at home. One can mabo free you.
And mo to books no bofro.
There be socialization.
I think it's the cultural definition because sometimes we also take some definitions from other parts of the world and impose on us. When they have architectures like lobbying, which is legitimate, they have infrastructures for enabling some other things we would call plain corrupt in our sector. What I think is that the sociologists and the academics should they make an say in terms of then corruption because the cultural template and I dare say moonlighting for example comedy ni pakro bewu
na bro say we moonlighting
exactly
but you see
the effect of the point I'm making is we should say because of our culture it may not be corruption because the cultural template does not allow for you to
socialization American institution agencies of socialization and agents even the school family peer groups and university workplaces na level bia will be doing I wanted to award them so we are mofra o say ni ato so we say nyese nya wo peyin uko school curriculum e shape what can government ni new syllabus no yen so what can fantastic niema bia wo de ewurawura mu no e be dan onipa
and say e be sisa wo say be your dan so say wo be busa ba e kire wa immediately he put that correct
obi
socialization on paper na honorable me nyawati yo na make an say sad ni nyina sociologist friend socialization na if you
how do you change that
if you are from the family no and then say kasa chira abofra
bro no
say
you are not getting the mathematics
but if the society thinks that is right
exactly because that is the nature
no the organization of
but your culture say we say yes we
no enya no kre no no remember people say kware so
enya no kre say you put the truth and lies that you way na many people corrupt
and moncho bukuru from mine
madam was and no pay na Regina da je say
I know you introduce you
but I say come na there so you say be
honestly speaking but one day people are trying to mix young culture and your tradition with abrofuni corruption asem no
okay me that say obi the message be I say Regina da je say how is anti-corruption even measured in Ghana? Yaba Ghana memu ha yaka corruption ebe dey tumi measure. Ya hwe ya kofie na madam ase pa se madam ase me na ase samunya breba ye na ka me ka message bia ma oda bo ahenkura Honorable Ikramada say, the best yes, we, Madam say, Dr. Asa Asante, or your senior political science lecturer, no say honor director, Center for European Study, University of Ghana, Lagos. Say no year director, Center for European Study, University of Ghana. Or no team in China, and socialization, no. Okay, Pimuni, Oni, or your micro muni so can and I say, Miamini Kuma Yasumpa. Wono lawyer ni osikase mu abi wo mu pa wono so meda na sese onya bre ebaye meka ma message bi o se menka ma meka ma ansa na yakọ afi Dr. Christopher Ampedu ye ka efie ntete efie amamre nipa nka bomu tawudi ese ba ye ntamu a wa bi wo mu pa and afi honorable Carlos Kingsley Ahenkra tama west mese bedwani mia menua Usain Bolt wano so meda na se na o say na tie unia ba français I mean can show say o say when government is tagged with corruption it refers to all arms of government. In Ghana agencies like police, customs, immigration are tagged as the most corrupt. So tell my fine boy Honorable Carlos Ahenkra that politicians are the least corrupt, so he should relax.
Thank you. That's the same thing. I mean,
but I'm panning. Production team I watch madam was papa Prince Nebuchadnezzar for ya kra mu nyina ye ho ya do ma da se be say critical issue be say ba edam ase ye ma mu nyina bye bye ya kra mu